Eve- Evening, everyone. How is everyone? Doing well? Come on, give me a good evening.
Good evening.
Great. Thank you very much. My name is Xavier Santiago. I'm the chair of Community Board 11. Today is Tuesday, October 21st, and we are now bringing this meeting to order. It is approximately 6:35 p.m. Tonight, we're joined by our district manager, Angel Mescane, assistant district manager, Khalid Nixon, and community liaison, Marlene Pierre. Before we jump into the meeting, a few ground rules. I want to welcome everyone. Sorry I was not here at September's full board. You got my email because of travel delays abroad. So thank you for everyone here who reached out. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand. If you are virtual, you can raise your hand through Zoom, or if you're here in the room, raise your hand in the room and wait to be recognized. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. 3, the chat function should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. 4, when a member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you. You may either unmute or you may stand and come to the mic to speak. We require you all to speak on the mic so we can actually be heard, and it can be recorded for our YouTube page and posterity's sake. Please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. 6, members of the public can register to speak in the public session by completing the pre-registration form, providing their name, affiliation, and what topic they wish to speak about. Also, the elected representatives and their reps, they should do the same. A link to the registration form has been shared in the chat. Registration for the public session needs to be concluded by 7:15 p.m. With that, we will now call the roll. Rosa?
Good evening, everyone. Please listen to your names. Jose Altamirano. Jose Altamirano. Please say present. Thank you. Fernando Alvarez. Fernando Alvarez. Absent. Marcel Bondima. Thank you. Adem Brija. Thank you. Marie Charles. Thank you. Leslie Colon. Thank you. Carlos Diaz.
Present.
Thank you. Rosa Diaz is myself. Jessica Elliott. Jessica Elliott, absent. David Giordano. Thank you. Ada Giretti. Thank you. James Gray. Thank you. John Green. John Green, can you hear us? Okay. Chancellor Gregg. Pascal Hanou. Thank you. Wanda Hopkins. Wanda Hopkins. Welcome back. Kyoka Jackson. Thank you. Christina Johnson. Christina Johnson. Joe Jones. Thank you. James Kempt. Thank you. Sage Mason. Malik McCullough. Malik McCullough. Okay. Robin Maginti. Robin Maginti. Jennifer Mayer. Okay. Jessica Morris. Thank you. Hayward Motum. Nilsa Orama. Nilsa Orama. And Beverly Pavone. Thank you. Samantha Pedreiro. Samantha Pedreiro. Carlene Percy. Carlene Percy. Absent. Tanya Phelps. Thank you. Marina Phillips. Marina Phillips. Absent. Valerie Ponti.
Present.
Thank you. Asher Rodriguez. Thank you. Dawn Sanders.
Here.
Thank you. Xavier Santiago. Janelle Satija. Thank you. Isaac Scott. Isaac Scott. Absent. Russell Schuller. Russell Schuller. Absent. Loretta So. Thank you. Derek Stampone.
Present.
Vincent Torres. Vincent Torres. Absent. Anne-Marie Vasquez. Thank you. Jason Villanueva. Thank you. Candy Bibis Vasquez. Thank you. Nye Whitaker. Nye. Agatha White. Agatha White. Michelle Wilshire Clement. Jason Wu. Coming back to John Green.
Here.
Thank you. Wanda Hopkins. Wanda Hopkins. Absent. Christina Johnson. Christina Johnson. Absent. Agatha White. Absent. And Nye Whitaker.
I'm here. I had put it in the chat. Thank you.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Nye Whitaker.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. We have a quorum. Great. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and was posted online. If there are no objections, we'll adopt the agenda as stated. Board members, if you wish to object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand through Zoom or here in the room. Beverly. No.
Sorry about that. The copying was poorly done by me. Just follow along on the screen above you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Okay. Seeing that there are none, the agenda is adopted for tonight's meeting. Okay, next is our pre-registered speakers. A few ground rules for those who wish to speak. 1, you must sign up to give testimony, providing your name and affiliation. 2, you will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Please state your phone and email up front. 2 minutes to speak and reserve a minute for questions. A timer will be up as an aid. 3, you should address your testimony to the board and not the public. 4, you should speak clearly and into the microphone. 5, you should be prepared to respond to board members who may ask questions in order to clarify facts and opinions presented in your comments. And 6, if required, the chair will remind you of the time or concluding the remarks. Board members should only ask clarifying questions. Commentary will not be entertained. Up our list of speakers. Hold on. Yes. Okay, thank you. Roberta Bangam and safety. Yep. You please go over here to the mic and you will have the timer up front.
My name is Roberta Brangham, brangham@gmail.com.
Oh, Brangham,
You have
thank
my
you.
spelling there, right? And my number is 917-292-6117. I live at 1270 Fifth Avenue.
Can you just speak into the mic a little closer? Thank you.
I live at 1270 Fifth Avenue, the corner of 108 and Fifth. This is not my first time speaking on the same topic. The drug dealing on East 108th Street from the corner of Madison, about a third of the way down the block on the north side. I've lived where I live now, 1270, for 32 years. Drug dealing has always taken place on that block, and it is now serious, more serious. I would say people have actually got chairs and stools and little conference centers there. And it's right across the street from PS 108. So it's right across the street from an elementary school. I've gone to the police. I've gone to the community board. We've had community police in the building to speak to, and absolutely no change. In fact, I think it seems to be worse. But that could be my opinion. But it's almost impossible to walk down that north side of the block now. It's just so peopled by drug dealers.
Okay.
So I'm coming to the community board to reiterate my concern.
Thank you very much for being here. Do you have any board members have any questions on this? Yes, Nilsson.
Hi.
We need the mic.
Hello, my apologies. I was outside getting an agenda. So you're talking about the building, you're talking about Lehman Village? Is it that area that's
No,
across,
it's-
or is it
it's
across?
The bodega at the corner, at the northwest corner, there's a bodega at the corner of Madison and 108. And it's basically from the bodega towards the west on the north side.
Okay. Yes, Keoka, question. Yes, to the mic. Just take the,
Said that you,
Please, please.
I can't, I'm loud. You said you had police in the building and community
Yeah, the
policing.
community police.
Have you attended a community council meeting where the commanding officer as well as the Q team officers are present for them to talk to you? Because today is the 23rd Precinct's community council meeting. So have you done that?
I think I have attended one, yeah, at Central Park East, the school. Yeah, I have.
I appreciate you bringing this to attention. We've been seeing this throughout the neighborhood and the issues and the uptick, but I would recommend, Pascal, where are you? You have a question, Jess? Yep, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Not a question. Hi, I'm actually a resident of your building as well.
Huh.
And I live on that block, obviously, if I'm a resident in that building. Those guys on the street, I think there are some differences in, demographics and things in the neighborhood. And I think I personally have not seen any visible drug dealing, and I appreciate if you have. But I do make a point to say hello to these guys on the street. I know some of their names, and I would just, encourage everyone to, just be neighbors too, and consider the humanity of the people around us, and introduce yourself and say hello. These guys have lived there for a long time as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've lived there for 32 years, and
Yep.
some of those people are not 32 years old.
I think they might be older. Some of them are a lot.
Oh, not too many of them now.
Right.
But
I've been
encourage-
around a long time.
It's just a little bit of outreach too, and happy to support your requests. And
I see.
However I
Okay,
can.
that's your approach.
Okay. No, thank you. I think it's important, like, again, as we build community, and I appreciate you bringing the concerns and the challenges we've been facing collectively. I would like you to introduce Pascal, if you would be so kind as to chat with Roberta and get our information. I know Michelle's not here. He's the Vice Chair of Public Safety and Transportation. The Community Precinct Council meetings, which Keoka is on the 25th, is the Precinct Council, and you should be in the 2-3. I think they actually have their meeting tomorrow. I believe it's at 6:15, but I'll check and can confirm later. So, but I appreciate you raising this, and please connect with Pascal to discuss and see next steps, okay?
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Michael Sekaracha. Yep, please.
Chair, I'm really sorry to interrupt, but if I could just add something to the last discussion, this is Dawn Sanders.
Can you hold on? Yes, Don, I'll entertain it. Go ahead.
Thank you. I handled a situation that escalated. And I was told by people at the 23rd precinct to not necessarily be out in front, saying who I am and where I am, where I live. I was told by police officers that. So I just want to remind my neighbors that there's a limit to what you can do, and to just please be aware that there's a limit to what you can do. And some of the people who are here are coming from other states. They're not necessarily from here. And take the advice of, whoever your CPOP is or others who might be doing surveillance, So again, I can't speak from anybody else's perspective, but I can just say that these things can escalate. So just be mindful of your own safety, and the people at 23rd Precinct should be able to inform you how to best report and advocate for yourself.
Thank you very much, Don. All right.
Good evening.
Michael.
My name is Michael
For the time.
Sekaracha. I live at 160 East 109th Street. My email is msekarek@gmail.com, and my phone number is 718-288-6471. And my question tonight is about land usage, and particularly the project that Nightingale Bamford has going on between Lexington and 3rd on 108th Street. It's a very large project. It's a gymnasium that will encompass the entire area that they have purchased. And I'm just wondering why there hasn't been a community board meeting addressing issues that are concerns to the neighborhood. There was a groundbreaking ceremony and Assemblyman Gibbs was there, and he did say that there were several people who had concerns that they expressed to him.
Thank you. Yes, Asher.
To answer your question, they have came before us multiple times, and we ended up with not many questions answered. And when we've asked them to come back, it has been either silence or it was silence after they asked to have a one-on-one meeting with me and with David and I. And personally, I am not gonna have a one-on-one meeting with people when it involves the community. So they could come back here and speak to us, but in the end, we have been trying to reach out to them, and they haven't wanted to come back before the board. I'll be happy to have them back. I will allot as much time as we need to get involved, but yeah.
The reason I bring this up is because there has to be a variance to put a building of that size and height up, and a building that abuts the adjacent properties on 109th Street right to the property line with a wall that goes up about, to my knowledge, I've looked at the plans, 26 feet to a terrace, and then it proceeds up to around 99 feet. It's a very tall building, 3 stories, but each story is a gym. So you can see how I would be concerned.
We appreciate you bringing that, and we will have Asher, we'll reach out to them again and see if we can get answers to our questions and
Yeah. Also,
rebuild that dialogue.
I'm sorry. I'm concerned about people both on the 109th Street side and 108th Street, since we're all neighbors in this project. And the project is going to impact everybody with noise, dust, inaccessibility of street use.
Mhm.
You know the drill.
Thank you. Yeah, we raised, and that's what we're waiting for answers, but we'll reach out again to
Thanks for
trace that down.
the opportunity.
No, thank you for coming. Next is Kevin Powell, Harlem Children's Zone. And next will be Kathy Benson, East Harlem Holiday Tree Lighting.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Powell. I'm from Harlem Children's Zone. I'm a community organizer. I just want to tell you guys quickly about some of the programs that we have. My email is kpowell@hcz.org. My work number, hold on. It's 347-413-4892. Okay, briefly, we have a Harlem Harvest that is at St. Nicholas. It's usually installed in the square. It was every second Saturday. This is our last one. The location is, like I said, St. Nicholas. That's West 128th Street between Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard and Frederick Douglass. Fresh vegetables are brought from upstate New York. We also have people from our staff, we call them Healthy Harlem staff, that prepare the meals, because a lot of people say they don't know what to do with all the vegetables that they have. We also have the same one at Lincoln Nitro Houses. That one we don't have the chef come out, but the Lincoln Community Board is very participant in making sure that they also have goods to bring along with our vegetable food boxes that we bring. We have a Money Talks financial literacy program. It started September 30th. We have a couple of sessions in budgeting and saving we just had. The next one will be raising financial fit youth. We have Credit 101, Cyber Security, Home Buying 101, Investing, and Estate Planning. There are different locations. Our location is Community Pride Salem, 211 West 129th. If you are interested in that, in the different locations, I do have some flyers, or you can contact me and I can give you that information. One that we have that is very popular now is CPR training, a certification course. It will be held at the ACZ Armory, which is 40 West 143rd Street. I do have a flyer that you can scan and automatically get RSVP'd into the course. Once again, this is certified courses. And in that Armory place as well, they do have community tennis. I do have a flyer you can scan if you're interested. It's October 21st, April through April 24th at the Armory. Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. In the same location in the Armory as well, it is adult fitness. It's been going on since September 29th. It will go on until December 5th. Once again, that location is 40 West 143rd. It's open fitness Monday through Saturday. Saturday is adult gymnastics 4 through 5. And we have a big thing that we've been doing lately is the Wicked Boo Bash, and will be on Saturday, October 25th at the Jeffrey Kennedy Community Center, which is 35 East 125th Street. K through 5th grade scholars 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., 6th grade through 12th grade scholars 2 5 p.m.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Any questions from our board members? Rosa?
Sure.
Hi. Don't go anywhere. So all of that information is great, especially the CPR certification. Do you mind just like email it to me so I can just, we
Definitely.
can share it out in
Definitely.
those newsletters? Thanks.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Marcieli Alvarado from We Act. Oh, sorry. No, hold on 2 seconds. I had said Kathy Benson was on decks. Come on, Kathy. And Marcieli. Thank you. Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
Kathy Benson, kbenson750@gmail.com, 917-453-5391. I live on the west side. However, I spent my entire salary life here at the Museum of the City of New York. And during that time, I got very involved in East Harlem Preservation, East Harlem Holiday Tree Committee, did a number of exhibitions about East Harlem. I'm here to talk about the East Harlem Holiday Tree Committee. Most of you probably know all about it. For those of you who might not, that's why I'm here. This will be the 22nd annual East Harlem Holiday Tree. We've been doing this since 2004. It is a roughly 20-foot tree that we put up. We don't put it up, other people put it up, but we raise the money and plan the tree lighting event. And it's at Franklin Plaza, 3rd Avenue and 106th Street. This year it'll be on the 5th of December, rain date the 12th, and at 6:30 p.m. It is, for the last about 3 years, we've been part of an initiative called East Harlem for the Holidays, created by Union Settlement Association, a whole consortium of organizations getting together to put together all of the various things that are done for the holidays, including my museum, still is, the Museum of the City of New York, El Museo del Barrio, many other organizations. And that will be beginning early. I think the tree lighting is one of the earliest of the activities, but there are many others. And do I have anything? Not? Are there any questions?
Any questions, board members? Rosa, go ahead.
So if anyone wanted to donate, where would they, who can they reach out to you?
Sure. Yes, that would be the best thing to do. And I should mention that the Community Board 11 has been a very significant donor, supporter of the holiday tree for a goodly amount of time.
Yep.
And for which I, on behalf of the Holiday Tree Committee, which is an all-volunteer committee, now under the management of Union Settlement Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much. I have one last question. Will it be Coco again this year?
Oh, we're trying.
Okay.
We're trying.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Next, we have Marcieli Alvarado from We Act. Ando just walked in.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marcieli Alvarado. I'm a community organizer for We Act. My email is marcieli.alvarado@weact.org, and my phone number is 646-983-7073. We would like to welcome everybody for our November membership meeting, where we will be discussing our 2026 policy agenda. It will be at Prince Hall at 454 West 155th Street at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Any questions? Or November what day?
November
8th.
8th at 10
November
a.m.
at 10 a.m. Any other questions? Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have here on the form Louis Gamero from Well Cornell Medicine.
Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Excellent.
You have the time. You have your 3 minutes. You have your timer right there on your screen.
Sounds excellent. Thank you. I'll try to be quick. My name is Louis Gamero. I'm actually here representing the Office of Community Outreach and Engagement at the Mayo Cancer Center, which is Weill Cornell's Mayo Cancer Center. And the thing with this is that we, apart from, dedicating what we do as part of outreach, advancing care and prevention and early detection, we are also trying to promote a lot of the different initiatives that we have, one of which is the launch of our lung screening. And this is one of the main buses, I would call, because this thing is massive. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring this out into the communities that are in need of these of this particular cancer screening. Now, just to kind of put it out there, I mean, lung cancer is by far one of the most prevalent cancers in New York City and in the United States. And the best way to actually, provide a really great prognosis is to actually provide those screenings of low-dose CT scans for anyone that may need it. Now, we do have some parameters, and I will be sending, I'm not so sure if I could use the chat to drop off any of our literature, but we would be more than happy to share that with you. And if you happen to have an event that you would like this bus, I'm going to call it, I'm not even going to a van, please let us know, reach out to us. We are more than happy to just go over there. If anything, just provide information, but also provide these low dose CT scans, which again is the most effective way to detect lung cancer early. And that's as anyone knows, detecting cancer very, very early in its early stages is the best way to ensure survival. Now, beyond that, I also want to just share that we have a very brief pilot study going on GI cancers. This just came across my desk, and I just wanted to share this with you because it actually involves reaching out to people who have had surgery for their GI cancers. And we just want to do a quick interview to see how that experience went for them. For that particular interview, which would be around 45 minutes, the participants will receive $50. And if you happen to know someone and you refer someone to us and that person gets interviewed, we will be more than happy to provide you with a $25 referral finder's fee, if you will. But beyond that, the Cancer Center itself, is there to pretty much help other communities bring, equity to a lot of the care that we have. So if you do have the need for any expert to come in and do a talk on any particular cancer that you have or that you would like to hear, please let us know, and we'll be more than happy to share that with you. I will be sharing my information, if not through the chat, I guess through the community board as well. So they'll have my information.
Send it to our board email address.
Sounds good.
Our
Thank you.
All right. Any questions? Nope. Okay. Next we have, that was Luis Romero, Gregory Castro, Manhattan East School for the Arts. Oh, what? Say what else?
Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Okay, I'm the previous speaker. Hi, Louis. Are you still on? I have it right here.
Yes, I am.
Oh, could you state your email and phone number one last time for the record?
Sure, no problem. I was trying to rush it. It was just 3 minutes. I usually slow down. LAG LG4014 at med.cornell.edu. LAG4014 at med.cornell.edu. And my phone number, my work number is 646-962-5035.
Okay, thank you.
962-5035.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, next we have Gregory Castro.
Good evening, everyone. Does everyone hear me?
Yes.
How are you? My name is Gregory Castro. Email is gcastro10 at schools.nyc.gov. My work phone number is 212-860-6047. I do apologize in advance for the noise outside, but my name is Gregory Castro, as I mentioned, and I have the privilege of serving as the interim acting principal at Manhattan School for Arts and Academics. I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself to Community Board 11, and kind of share some of our school's ongoing efforts to uplift and enhance the building so that it better serves our students, families, and other members of the community. We are part of District 4, and we serve all of our students as best we can. But as everyone knows, the M99 building is close to 100 years old, right? And as much as we're committed to creating an inclusive, welcoming, and equitable environment, right now, there are certain installations and certain spaces that need to be upgraded, like the auditorium, gymnasium, the shared learning spaces. We are losing a lot of our enrollment and our ability to support student learning on a day-to-day basis because we are not an ADA accessible school. And I'm hoping that through continued partnership, we are able to work with the community board to advocate for these much needed improvements and to ensure that our school and the community as a whole continues to see growth, both in enrollment, but also in just like the way that our centers, education centers, our complexes actually look. We want to make sure that the schools are a safe, but also like a positive learning environment. And when you come in, when you're in a school where you're on the top floor, no elevator, it does make it a little harder for students. I have individual instances where students are unable to come to school because they get hurt and we're not an IDA accessible school. So I thank you for the time. And I really, really do hope that we're able to work together as, the year progresses. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Board member questions. Asher?
Hey, Gregory, are you going to be at the legislative breakfast on Thursday?
Yes, I am. James, our UFT parent coordinator, and some of our students will also be present, advocating for the changes that we're trying to get in the building. We're also partnering, because we are in a co-located building, we're partnering with Innovation Charter to also have student representation there, because all the needs that we have impact the building as a whole, not just us as the public school in the building.
All right, I'll come find you on Thursday so we can discuss this more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, you had a question? Right.
Hi, Greg. It's Rosa. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rosa.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Question. I know you guys have a big playground. Was that renovated recently or no?
So I have been the interim acting principal for literally a month and a half in the building. James, who is one of our staff members and is also part of the board, can answer that question a lot better than I can. But yes, it has been renovated. It has been renovated. Not sure when it was completely. A lot of the renovations, though, again, are dealing with like the infrastructure, like not just the outside, but inside as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I'll follow up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Nakumu Kata. Oh, yep. Come on up, James. One more question, then we'll move on.
I just wanted to answer that question for you. I was in middle school when it was junior high school, 99, when that yard was renovated.
So it's been a number of years that the school has gotten some love. A
Was-
number of years that the school has gotten some love. So let's work together to make sure we support the school building.
All right, thank you. We'll see you at the legislative breakfast, and thank you for showing up to our full board meeting.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Next is Nakuma Katali from Nakuma Katali LLC. Nakuma Katali. All right. Do not see the individual on. We will now move on in our agenda. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Oh, so who? Oh, that's a council member rep. Okay, we will now hear from our local elected officials. If you have not already signed to speak, we ask that all elected officials or their representatives please alert our staff in the chat. If you wish to give a report, we ask that event and service literature be sent to our office first so that we may post and share where it is appropriate. Please keep your report to 3 minutes and be mindful not to repeat what others have already mentioned. Again, reminding people, give a report for 2 minutes, allow room of 1 minute for questions. With that, first up, we have Shani Herrera for Councilmember Yusuf Salam's office. You can come over here to the mic, please.
Good evening. My name is Shani Herrera. My email or our email is district9 @council.nyc.gov. Our phone number is area code 212-678-4505. I would like to say good evening to the Chair, Xavier Santiago, and the entire Community Board 11. I want to thank you for allowing me to bring remarks from our council member, Yusuf Salam. But before I get started, I wanted to introduce you to Emerald Williams, who's our new community liaison, who is managing CB9, but will be here with you as an alternative.
Nice to meet you.
So here's my report. Councilmember Yusuf Salam stood with Congressman Adriana Espaillat to demand for the return of MTA funding to complete the 2nd Avenue subway. Right now in Washington, negotiations are underway that could undermine whether New York continues to rise or whether we are held back by short-sighted, unnecessary federal budget cuts that threaten to stall our momentum and set us back years. The cuts to MTA funding are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are decisions that impact real lives, real communities, and the real future of our city. The threats of proposed cuts will delay or even derail the extension of the 2nd Avenue subway. And that would be a profound mistake because this isn't just about a train line. It's about an opportunity, it's about equity, it's about economic recovery and economic justice for the northern Manhattan and beyond. This extension is a lifeline for communities that have waited so long for this kind of access to other parts of the city that we are not taking for granted. It means shorter commutes, better job access, and a connection to the heartbeat of New York. I would like to take this time to recap on the street co-naming ceremony for the Senator Bill Perkins. On October 4, 2025, we witnessed a beautiful and heartfelt turnout for the street co-naming at 110th Street, Frawley Circle, 5th Avenue, in front of what is now called the Heritage, but formerly known as Schomburg Plaza. The family, friends, colleagues, and elected officials gathered to honor the late Senator Bill Perkins, who also served as a city council member for District 9. The ceremony was filled with powerful stories, warm memories, and reflections on the legacy of service and dedication to the community. It was truly an inspiring day and a fitting tribute to a leader who gave so much of himself to Harlem and New York City. Tomorrow, on October 22nd at 12 p.m., we will be honoring Ambassador Franklin H. Williams with a street co-naming on the northeast side of 136th Street and 5th Avenue on what would have been his 108th birthday. Thank you. I want to
Thank
be
you.
respectful of the time.
No, I really appreciate you setting the trend. Thank you. Any questions from our board members? Nil Sarama.
Hello, thank you for coming and filling us in on what what Yusuf Salam is doing. I ask all the representatives here if eventually we will see Mr. Salam to come to speak to us. I understand that we're a small portion, but it would be nice for us to see our elected officials. And the reason I say that is because the community has spoken to me. I'm a former chair here, that it seems that the electeds only come when they want to vote. And we don't necessarily vote for Yusuf Salam, let's say, but it's important that as we get representatives, that at least it would be nice if we see them. But I appreciate you coming and sharing, and I appreciate all the representatives coming and share, but it would be nice to see the electeds once in a while. Thank you.
I will surely take that information back to the office.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other questions, thank you very much for being here in person. Appreciate it. Next up, we have from Assembly Member Wright's office, we have several people signed up, so either Regina M. or Senavia Golari.
Good evening. This is Synovia Guillory.
Novia, thank you for the correction there. You have your 3 minutes.
Greetings to Board Chair Xavier Santiago and all members of Community Board 11 from Assemblyman Jordan Wright's office. Thank you for having me. I would just like to tell you guys about some announcements that the Assembly member have going on. He has a turkey and pernil giveaway and free health care screenings on Friday, November 14th from 11 to 4 at 3333 Broadway. I know it's on the other side of town for those that live on the east side. Participants of the Care Access that's giving free screenings will give gift cards for $45 for whomever would like to do the screening. And turkeys and pernils will be given away as well. He also has a second turkey giveaway that's being held on Saturday, November 15th between 1 and 3:30 p.m. at Millbank Gymnasium at 1432 West 118th Street. It's first come, first serve. Also, the Assembly member will be hosting a job fair in partnership with the New York State Department of Labor on December 10th, Wednesday, between 10 and 3 p.m. at the Kennedy Center located 34 West 134th Street. Also, he will be hosting a coat drive at a later time in November. The date and time and location will be determined. Also, my email address is Guillory S, that's GUILLORYS @nyassembly.gov. And my telephone number is 212-866-5809. I am the Assembly Member Senior Scheduler and Community Liaison. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board member questions? Seeing none, we'll now move on to Wendy Hewlett from Assemblymember Gibbs' office. Wendy, you have your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, CB11. It's great to be with you. I am representing Assemblyman Edward Gibbs. I'm his Chief of Staff. Just wanted to let everyone know our office hours 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and we do constituent services Monday through Thursday. Please stop by. Thank you.
Any questions from our board members? Seeing that there are none, thank you very much for attending with us, Wendy.
Thank you.
Next up is Oriana Rivera from Senator Serrano's office.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. It's nice to be here at the meeting again. Sorry I couldn't be there last one. But I'd like to share two announcements. So the first one is reminding you that we constantly have monthly constituent hours, which is we'll bring the service outfit service to our community, and we're gonna have two for next month, November. The first one will be November 13. That will be at Jefferson Senior Center, located at 2205 First Avenue. That will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then the second one will be November 24th. That will be located at Franklin Plaza, 2078 Second Avenue. That will be again from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The other announcement that I want to share is that Senator Serrano is hosting a emergency preparedness training. That will be held at Covelo Adult Center. It's located at 312 East 109th Street. That's between 1st and 2nd Avenue. It's going to be on October 27th at 1 p.m. So basically, this is a training. It's going to be around like hour and a half. It's completely for free. And then at the end of the training, the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, they will giving out the backpack with emergency kits. Remember, this is up on registration, so please call us to the office to help you guys register to that training if you're interested in. Our phone number is 212-828-5829. Again, 212-828-5829, and my name is Oriana. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Any questions from our board members? Seeing no hands raised, thank you very much for being with us. Next up is Maggie McDermott. Maggie, you have your three.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? It's great to be here. My name is Maggie McDermott. I am the Director of Special Projects for Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala. We want to mention that she celebrated Hispanic Heritage at City Hall along with several colleagues, and it was a tremendous success. She partook in the Mount Sinai ribbon cutting ceremony, as well as a Julia de Burgos event and an arch care ribbon cutting. There was a groundbreaking for the Harlem River Park last week that she partook in, as well as the Children's Aid Society groundbreaking for the construction project here in East Harlem. She also facilitated the street renaming for Ethel Battle Velez, the chair of the Manhattan North CCOP board and president of Johnson Weldon House's TA board. I also want to mention about she's having an event at La Marqueta, Spectacular Halloween, which will take place on Friday, October 31st on Halloween from 3 to 5 p.m. All community members are invited to attend. And this was shared with Community Board 11. Any questions?
Any questions? No.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being with us, Maggie.
Thank you so much for having me. Take care.
Take care. All right. That concludes our elected official reports. We will now move on to our borough president's report. Oh, sorry. Yes, Adem, you had a question? Okay.
I just want to echo what Nilsa said, but at least some reps showed up, and that were the only reps that showed up. I wonder if the technology allows us to see what time these reps are staying on till. I mean, it's important they share what they share, but I think it's more important that they hear the work we're doing in case there are questions that need to be asked. We come to these meetings. There are people from the community that come to these meetings. This is their job. I don't know how overtime works, but I'm tired of hearing them speak and their cameras aren't even on, and then we're asked if we have questions. I don't know if we have questions, really. Maybe people are just not that checked in because they don't feel that they are. So thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Adem. And confirm, Angel, we do get timestamps when the members or the people who've logged in and log out, correct? Yeah, so we do get timestamps when people log out and leave the meeting.
And I don't know if that was geared towards Deputy Speaker Ayala's office, but I will say that we are on the call throughout the entirety of the session. And, I can say that with conviction because I'm the rep. So, and also the deputy speaker was at the meeting in person last month. Xavier, you were not present, but she and
Yes,
were
I was
present.
aware she was. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, no. I think it was, just so you to be aware, it was a blanket statement. So a general statement, Maggie, respectfully.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Next is our Borough President's report, Porfirio Figueroa.
Hello, my name is Porfirio Figueroa. I'm the Deputy Director of Community Affairs for the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I wanted to share that the Community Board Leadership Training Series began on Monday, yesterday, and goes through the end of the week to help new and current members increase their knowledge of EEO, COIB, and the skills to combat an implicit bias, which I just completed right before coming back onto this meeting. This series will also include, or did include, in session from IBO Independent Budget Office, and we will have continue throughout the week to have other sessions on topography, navigating the HPD and DOB portals as tools. I do need to announce that because of the federal furlough, there's a possibility that the Census Bureau data, which is the last one on Friday, may have to be canceled. We do have an upcoming college fair, which we are hosting on Saturday, October 25th at 11 a.m. at Boricua College. And for more information, please go to events at manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Our office is deeply concerned about the potential harm and uncertainty that the federal government shutdown is causing for New Yorkers. We are monitoring the potential impact on services to the community, and the Manhattan Borough President's Office is available for support with help at our Constituent Services Office, which is on 125th Street, by calling 212-531-1609 or emailing info@manhattanbp.nyc.gov. My email is p.figueroa@manhattanbp.nyc.gov. And our number here is 212-669-8300. And in answer to the comment, I think everyone in East Harlem knows how much and how involved I am in the community and out there on the street. I take a little umbrage on what was said because my phone is always on, and I actually talk to Xavier sometimes even at 12 midnight or at 7 a.m. first thing as soon as my phone goes on. We work very hard here as civic employees, and yet we do have parameters that we are allowed to function in, and sometimes that does not allow us to be everywhere. And sometimes there are other meetings that are going on in the community as well, or other things that need our attention. So with great respect, I have to say, you can't just look at it through a narrow vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Porfirio. And I appreciate you being in the field with me and in the trenches very much, and dealing with all the issues that our community is impacted by. So thank you very much for all that you do personally. So yeah, I will say Porfirio, in his defense, he's out there, and it's very humble to do the work. But nonetheless, I think the general statement stated. So with that, thank you, sir, for being here. Give our best to the office and staff. David, do you have a question? Sorry, I did not see you over there.
Hi, and it's interesting that the people that do show their faces and are around do have reason to say that they're, here in presence. Just very quickly, I guess I have a question, and this is, as many of us are turning over from the board and will not be renewing because of the new changes. I'm curious to know whether when we term out, are we allowed, see, I guess for many of us, when our term ends and we're no longer an official board member, that's not going to stop our work in the community. And we will continue to attend meetings and we'll continue to make a voice. My question is, when we are now termed out, are we allowed to then apply to be a public member in the next cycle?
So once you come to your term limits, first of all, you can continue to attend the meetings. You can continue to be part of committee meetings. You would have to, I think, from what my understanding, you have to wait 2 years before you can reapply to the community board. But you
As a
can,
public member as
you
well?
can, As a public member, I believe that has to be at least 1 year in between. But again, you can still attend the meetings, and in meetings, you can still weigh in on all the issues.
Well, I really would hope that we can get an official reply to that, whether it's 1
I'll
year,
have
2
that
years,
sent
or
to.
no years. And I know this is probably going to come up. And more of my concern is that while this was an intentionally great idea to ensure that we get the board turning over and get new members, my concern is we just got 15 new members appointed this year, right? And that's out of 25. That means if we have another turnover of 15 that are brand new board members, you have 30 board members who have less than 2 years experience serving on the board. And then I would really worry about the institutional knowledge that would get lost. So that's why I'm encouraging that, you know, we find out exactly what the is so that we know whether to apply or not. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Leo.
We will.
Yeah, David, actually, you raise a great point, and which actually allows me the opportunity to pivot, if I may respond to the question.
Yeah.
Just so today, and because the leadership training series that we have created here at the office and done for the last 4 years serves that purpose. And just today at 12 noon, we actually had a session on passing on institutional knowledge and the ways that community boards can actually work through their district manager's office to actually create that and improve the ways to do that specifically. All our leadership training series will live on the YouTube channel for the Manhattan Borough President's Office all the way and through December 31st. And so I would urge you all to take a look at the one that was today at 12 noon, which was called Passing on Institutional Knowledge.
Thank you.
Sure.
That was your question. Okay. Nilsson.
Thank you, Porfirio, for answering my question. I did attend the Airtable one today, and it was excellent. Would you have an idea, but due to problems at work, I was unable to access the other two trainings, and I had a late meeting at the 5 o'clock. Would you have an idea when they'll be put on the website? The training?
To my knowledge, that's supposed to happen next week after the last one completed this week.
Okay. Thank you so much, Porfirio.
You got it.
Thank you. All right. And with that, and seeing no more questions, thank you very much for your report. We'll move on to our special presentation by the City Council Planning and Land Use Division regarding the 2025 ballot proposals suggested by the New York City Charter Revision Commission. These proposals will be on the ballot for the November 4th, 2025 election.
I submitted a presentation, so while you pull that up, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Deborah Kirshner. Do I need to give my phone number for this? My email is dkirshner, so that's DKERZHNER @council.nyc.gov. And my phone number is 212-482-5178. And I'm here today to give an overview of the impact of the mayor's proposed Charter Revision Commission proposals on land use, and specifically with a focus on how it impacts the community board's voice in the land use process. So we'll start on the second slide when it comes up with a background on the ULURP process and these great materials CB11 put out. They talk about the fact that in the land use process, the first step is coming to the community board. To understand what do I mean by land use process, just so we're all on the same page, in New York City, the height and use of building is governed by zoning. So if you want to build a higher building or have a different use of that building, you'd need to get a change in the zoning rules that govern it. Next page. And the process by which that change happens is called ULURP, which stands for Uniform Land Use Review Procedure. And as you see here in terms of the process, after the application for a land use change comes to the city planning department, the first step is here at the community board. But that's not its last stop. After that, it goes to the borough president, then it goes to the city planning commission, and very importantly, then it comes to the city council. That's where your elected representative gets a chance to weigh in and vote on the application. Okay, next slide. And just before we see how they're changing ULURP with these proposals, is to understand that ULURP is an effective process for getting community input and bringing new housing. Since 2022, the City Council has approved 142,000 units worth of housing. And the council has acted in that process as an advocate for community needs. Next slide. And when I speak about being an advocate for community needs, it's not just that a land use change goes through and that's the council's role, voting yes or no. We also advocate for things like infrastructure or anti-displacement measures, or making sure that schools are there. Or for example, in Western Rail Yards, which just happened this year, they wanted to bring either a casino or residential units to Midtown. The council said no casino, and they got them to drop that and only move forward with the residential, and to make sure that there was more affordability to those units than the original proposal. For the recent rezoning in Midtown, made sure that the garment district workers still had a path to maintaining their industry in that area. Next slide. So I'm going to be focusing on applications the proposals 2 through 4. So you'll also see when you go to the ballot in November, a charter revision commission change number 1, that's a state proposal. I'm not going to be dealing with that. There's also proposals 5 and 6. I'm not going to be dealing with that. I'm just talking tonight about 2, 3, and 4, which deal with the land use process of ULURP and are trying to modify it in certain situations. So even though I'm only talking about 3 questions, you'll see that I'm going to be talking tonight about 4 proposals. And the reason for that is that proposal number 2, which the mayor refers to as fast tracking affordable housing, has 2 parts, 2A and 2B. And even though they're lumped together, they're very different. Okay, so does everyone have the kind of framework? Next slide. So I'm going to be going into those in more detail. The first proposal is called Fast Track for Affordable Housing. This is publicly financed affordable housing. So any publicly financed affordable housing would not be going through and to be called the Board of Standards and Appeals, and then it stops. It doesn't come to the City Council. So here the Community Board does weigh in, but it's still an advisory weighing in, and there's no elected official to give weight and consideration specifically to this community and what their voices were. Next slide. And so what are kind of the guardrails that are missing from this kind of proposal? Well, I said affordable housing, which I think many people here are supportive of, but there's no definition in the Charter Revision Commission limiting what affordable is. You could have, for example, 120% AMI, which we know is not affordable to this community, but it would still be considered, quote unquote, within the parameters of affordable housing. If it gets public financing and it has that affordability component, it could go through this fast tracking. We know a big role of what council does right now is negotiate different affordability levels, mindful of what works for their community, and that voice wouldn't be part of this process. And just to emphasize, the Board of Standards and Appeals is not an elected position. They're appointed by the mayors. And it wouldn't take into account what kind of infrastructure is needed and how does it fit. So in this example, you see a rent of $3,000 a month could still be considered affordable. Next slide. So then we also have 2B, which is the second part of this question number 2, and this is fast track for in certain communities. So here, I'm going to focus on the communities in a second, but here is concurrent review, meaning at the same time review with the community board and the borough president, and then it goes to the CPC, and that's the end of the process. So which type of applications are going through this process? It's any application that's for an MIH development, that's a development that includes some percentage of affordable housing. In the 12 community boards that have produced the lowest rate of affordable housing, over a 5-year period, which is a new concept. You want to move ahead a slide? One more? So it is hard to see this map on this projection, but we looked at the data. If today we had to say, what are these 12 community boards producing the lowest rate of affordable housing that would fall into this program? It's the ones in the dark orange, but they're actually pretty close to the ones in the light orange. So while East Harlem isn't on this map, a lot of nearby neighborhoods like the Upper West Side, the Upper East Side, and you can see different parts of Manhattan would be in this area. And basically, all the housing applications would be under this fast track. The community board really has no control about getting out of this fast track. And they would just be bypassing everything in that district from the council. The applications could be as large as a community, a neighborhood-wide rezoning. And I think this community has been through that kind of visioning process in your East Harlem neighborhood plan, where you came together, where you worked as a community, where you got that community input, because a neighborhood plan should have wide-reaching survey of the community. That would be lacking from this process. Okay, forward. It's fine. I think it's a lot of the same drawbacks as the other proposal in terms of lack of community input, lack of control on affordability level, lack of the infrastructure, and it allows market rate housing. So these are not fully affordable housing developments that are coming in. They're majority market rate with some affordability component. And it would just be bypassing the council in this process, which means that there's not going to be the same negotiation of community benefits that happens right now in the Euler process. Okay, move on. Move on. Sorry that the formatting didn't work when I sent this over, but this is the third question. And instead of the ULURP process, this is the ELURP process, which stands for Expedited Land Use Review. Very similar process in that it is cutting out the city council. And what kind of projects go through this fast tracking are projects that the mayor has called modest housing increases. What is modest? In a low density neighborhood, like a single family neighborhood, it could be anything up to 4 stories, and 2.0 FAR would automatically come through this process. In a district like East Harlem, which is mid to high density, it's any size increase up to 30% would just go through this fast process and not come to council. And it's also some certain infrastructure projects. And, you think of infrastructure projects, the Second Avenue subway, the kind of is not an example of an infrastructure project, but that was an example of where it came to the community beforehand, before the, sorry, I'm not sure if it did come, but the city sometimes will seek authority to acquire property, and that would come through the Euler process. That would kind of also be in that blanket. So land acquisitions and dispositions by the city would also be able to skip council under this process. Next slide. So it's a lot, again, of the same themes of, market rate housing could come here, out of scale development could come through here. Next slide. I didn't include a picture here, but I should have. People don't really realize, they think 30% is small, but for example, in Harlem, a lot of the brownstone streets are underbuilt for their zoning. So right now they're built a little smaller than what their zoning allows, but that's not enough of an incentive for somebody to redevelop the building to build a little bit more. But under this process, they'd be able to get 30% more than the on the books zoning, which would be much bigger than what the brownstone is today. So taken together, that little gap between what is there now and what is allowed versus what it can become would be a big change and would incentivize redevelopment in a way that's not happening now. And also that change is so small that it's not worth it for them to go through ULURP. There is a feeling that they would go through this process. So a lot of buildings would potentially take advantage of this process to redevelop in the shortened process without coming to council. And also important to realize is not all of these rezonings would come with the affordability requirement, so they could be completely market rate. So this is an example of an area zoned R6. You can see 3-story buildings here. They could allow something up to R2, R7-2, which is a big change. So that's what I'm talking about when I say an example of a community that's underbuilt compared to its current zoning. You give a small change to what's allowed, you get a big change in the built environment. Okay, next slide. That's another example from a low density neighborhood with the 4-story. Next slide. This is the fourth and final question that I'm going to be going over tonight. It's a little bit different than the other three. The other three had all in common that it stopped before reaching the council. It stopped on that timeline. Here you can see that the timeline keeps going and it does come to council. So what's different about this proposal? Currently in the ULURP process, an application comes to the council and the council votes yes, no, or modifies. And then it goes to the mayor, who has the option of a veto. If the mayor chooses to veto, it then comes back to the council, who has the option of the ability to overturn the veto by a 2/3 majority. This proposal would do away with the council's ability to override the mayoral veto. How? It would establish something called the appeals board. The appeals board would have 3 members, which includes the mayor, the speaker, and the borough president. And that appeals board would have a public hearing, which is different than a public meeting, which is different than a public hearing because community input. And the appeals board's decision to undo any of the council's modifications or undo any of their, if they decide to vote against a project or lower a project, is final. It's the final say. It doesn't come back to the council. So it really changes the balance of power that the council has right now, shifting it away. Okay, next slide. And why is this significant? Currently in the land use process, the council member negotiates for community concerns. You've seen this in a lot of the projects that happen here. And what this does is shift the negotiation power because the council is no longer the last say in an application. Rather, it's this appeals board. And again, there's no public input in that final appeals step. Okay, next slide. Just very quickly, the Atlantic Avenue mixed-use plan is an example where the council said it's not enough just to increase density. If you increase density, we need to make changes to the community to make it work. The street there didn't make sense with the amount of people that it was going to be taking on with the increase in density. So they got over $100 million to redesign that street. And that was only through council negotiation. It wouldn't have happened without the input of the council member, or upgrades to open space. We can think of many examples of what a community might need when more people are coming to that community, and it needs to be a comprehensive plan. Next slide. So in conclusion, we know that New York City has a housing problem. The way that we propose to fix it is through more community input, not through less community input, thinking about infrastructure, thinking about community needs, thinking about how these things work holistically, and more discussion is not necessarily the problem that needs to be solved for. Last slide. And just as a conclusion, the council has a website, What's on My Ballot, where you can learn more about these concerns, specific about the community input and the community voice in the land use process. I know you guys have a really strict procedure and we have a lot of timeline. I am available for questions, but I defer to you.
We have time for a few questions, and if possible, just because we have a very long agenda and everything, if we don't have time for some of them, if people could collate them together, and then we could send them and get responses in writing and be helpful. Yes, Beverly Pelham. And Jason Villanueva.
Hi, and thank you for your presentation. In regards to the ballots, I think the people should have had more time like they did with the City of Yes, so we can go over that since we did a couple of years going with the City of Yes. But my question is, you stated on your fast track that since East Harlem was not one of the communities that did less housing, um, and that the people will be on the list for at least 5 years. If we don't do any more housing, would we be able to be put on that list?
It's a dynamic list, but you don't have control over it because you're not the ones actually building affordable housing. Do you see what I'm saying? So as a community board, you don't really have direct control whether or not you're on that fast track list or not. And it is revisited every 5 years. So it'd be when this plan gets put into place and when they get that data, they would make that assessment who gets put on the list. But we do predict that certain districts are going to get stuck on it and not really have a good ability because maybe nobody wants to build in those communities and they want to build somewhere else, or maybe the areas are so dense that affordable housing doesn't make sense and they're not going to come in. So there's a lot of speculation where it is, but East Harlem is not on near the cutoff using current numbers.
All right, thank you. Jason, no? Any other board member questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your time. If there are any follow-up questions from our board members, please get them to us.
Okay, you have my email. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Next. That concludes our public session. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We will now move into our business sessions, which is for board members conducting board business. The first thing is the adoption of the board minutes. The minutes from the last full board were not distributed to the board members, so that item will be tabled until next month. And we will combine both September and October's board meetings. Next is the chair's report. Again, like I said at the opening of the meeting, want to say welcome back to everyone. And I really appreciate those people over this past summer who were out there getting involved, being at community events, whether it's a street co-naming, family day, school events, back to school events. It's really important. Salsa at White Park was a huge success this summer, unlike previous summers when we had the fires from Canada where they got canceled numerous times. That's one central location as an example that you can go out and connect with the community and get to know your neighbors, people you've not met. So I really encourage you when you see these events, get involved, get stuck in. Two things, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. In my report, you'll find information there. You'll see the mobile vans throughout the neighborhood. I know also Borican is having an event on the 24th for free screenings. That's very crucial to get early testing. That's how you actually prevent. We also have, it is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We have partnered on various projects with We All Really Matter and Stephanie McGraw. I recommend you looking up the organization if you're not on their email list. Do a lot of preventative work here in the community and throughout the city. Okay. So most of this is for information purposes only, but as I've sent over email and talked to a lot of you, you need to get out there. I want to say thank you to Dembriha, who joined me as a housing chair over on 119th Street to meet with concerned constituents with the quality of life over at the Rio and the Palm over there, which are affordable co-ops that were built like almost 20 years ago. There are a lot of concerns that assaults have happened over there, and we went in knowing it would be a lion's den, and people came in, they were very upset. So sometimes you're going to deal with people that you may not agree with ideologically, but you keep leaning in and you talk and you build bridges. So I want to say thank you to the members who invited us and for going out. So I encourage more of that. We have, excuse me, Harlem River Greenway Park groundbreaking. Thank you, Rosa, Sage, Russell, who all came out for this groundbreaking. But I do want to give props publicly for Frances Mastrota. This was a project she was very passionate about. She could not make it. I probably called her multiple times a day to check in. But this is something that many of us were not mentored by Frances, but rather indoctrinated by Frances when it comes to parks. And I have a deep respect, and we wish she could have been there, but it was good to be at that groundbreaking. Party in Park, thank you to all those board members who came and volunteered. I really appreciate it. That was crucial. We actually upped our surveys. I think we had started in, correct me if I'm wrong, Angel, at around 100 going in, and then we got another 70 plus over that course of time. So spreading the word, even helping out the people who are not familiar, they have like the flip phone still, helping them fill it out online was crucial in actually getting feedback. Rest of this is mostly for information purposes only, other than the Mount Sinai's emergency room department. That ribbon cutting, I was there with a lot of the electeds. That was a 5-year process. They came before us, I think it was 2019. For those of us who have been to that ER, myself included, with my kids, it used to be waddle room only. You were packed in real tight. And now the triage room, it's brightly, like it's very bright, it's very warm colors. You feel like you're actually being taken care of. You go to the pediatrics unit, another area that's very crucial that people get very stressed. I've been there with both of my boys, unfortunately, and it's night and day difference. So if you can, I can reach out to Brad Beckstrom in our governmental affairs to see if we can arrange a small tour, but it'd be worth seeing the improvement there. And then the Children's Aid groundbreaking, which was spoken about by Debbie, Diana Ayala, by Maggie McDermott, was there, that groundbreaking. That is also a testament, and Nilsa, our former chair, can tell you how vociferous those conversations were when we all first learned, and the meetings we had down when Gail Brewer was our borough president trying to solve this. So now they're on a track between 30 to 33 months to have that building built. So that's a very exciting prospect. And just 2 other items just to keep us all aware. Yes, the 2nd Avenue subway, we hope to have them come to land use, then to the 2nd Avenue subway task force for a deeper dive. They are still issued contract 2, which is the boring machine that goes in. So that's going forward. But we want to wait until we have more updates with the shutdown and additional things with the funding that was threatened to be pulled, because as was explained in a previous report, the way it works, when they award the money, you don't get the money cash in hand. You have to outlay the money. The state outlays the money and then submits the receipts. And that's something that we learned in this process, which is crucial why I think Governor Hochul and others are playing nice, but we still want accountability, because that dates back to when my grandmother was living here in the Bronx. So when they took down the 3rd Avenue L. So this is something that we have to be patient, but I hope to have updates. And then NYPD plate crimes, recently had a conversation with that. The paper plates was an issue. It's still ongoing, but now what they're doing is they're buying plates that are discontinued on eBay, or they're stealing plates from other states that match the make model of your vehicle here, and they're just switching them out. And so what happens is that people will then wind up getting tickets, tolls, things like that, and they weren't even in the state. That's how crazy this is. And so they're trying to tap down on it. So just being mindful of what's going on here. So these are some issues of note, and don't forget to vote. Early voting starts this weekend and then goes through Election Day. So that's all. Any questions? Yes, Asher.
Thank you for coming to the Children's Day groundbreaking. It was nice to see you there. I'm not sure if this is necessarily a you question, but will the executive meeting from Thursday that was canceled be rescheduled?
And we at the time did not have anything on the schedule. So, but if we can plan one, but we were going to have one in November. We did not have anything on the agenda
All
at
right.
the time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, and thank you for raising the question, and thank you for the good notes you gave at the groundbreaking, Asher. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. Do we have a vice chair report? Oh, sorry, district manager's report. And do you have a vice?
Hello. I hate these things. So I don't have too much, but since it was mentioned earlier by Porfirio in regards to the Borough President's Office's leadership training series and today's training on Airtable and institutional knowledge, excuse me, the training was conducted by one of my colleagues at Community Board 6, former Community Board 11 member Jesus Perez, who really has been like the Yoda for district managers with when it comes to Airtable. And I've mentioned him here before in that regard and how much I and other DMs have ripped off of what he's been able to figure out, how to find, how to apply Airtable to the board's work. And the training today, in regards to institutional knowledge, focused on like documentation and the ease of access to documentation using the Airtable database. So I just wanted to take a moment to remind members or to just appoint members too that haven't had the opportunity to see it. All the stuff that was discussed today that, you know, CB6 was laying out as, you know, best practices are stuff, things that we're already doing. So in regards to how we populate our meetings calendar and you know, upload, you know, our agendas and minutes and all that kind of stuff, that's all via the Airtable. You know, we keep a running list of archive of your letters and resolutions, of the minutes of your meetings, of the recordings of your meetings, in addition to a tracker for our budget request year after year, where we're tracking what the responses are at the adopted budget stage and how those requests are refined each fall, like you're going to be doing this evening. So if you haven't had the opportunity, I know that the term institutional knowledge gets raised a lot, has been being raised a lot in terms of, you know, this concern about, you know, what's going to be lost once, you know, large numbers of members are no longer on the board due to term limits. But a conversation has not been had at this board about what institutional knowledge means to the board. So to the extent that I've been able to understand is like documentation, and I've been pushing that, and you know, again, push that and encourage you again to know that although veteran members will be cycling off at different stages over the next coming years, the positions taken while those members were here and while their predecessors were here are available to you on the website already. We've populated back, I believe, in some documents as far back as 1996. So there's a lot of stuff there. So the concern about institutional knowledge is a fair concern, but also to an extent being addressed by what we're making available to you. So if you can take the time to go there and see and dig around and poke around and educate yourself to the extent that you're curious, there's plenty there for you. So in terms of Community Board 11 being proactive in, you know, establishing and maintaining institutional knowledge, at least as it regards to documentation, we are already doing that. We will do more, but I wanted to tell you where we are now in the hopes of encouraging you that, you know, all is not going to be lost as members are cycling off. Xavier mentioned Frances Mastroda. She appears many, many times in that archive. One thing that was mentioned in the training today, for those of you that did not attend, that is very important. You could have documentation, pieces of paper till you're blue in the face, but if you don't have good content on those pieces of paper, the paper is not as useful as it should be. And what I mean is, for example, if you have a letter that came out of one of your committees and all you're saying is, I really like this building, that's not doing anything. It's important to, for the record, for that institutional knowledge, to get into some level of detail. This building contains this many stories. We like this aspects of the project, et cetera, which in the moment, I know members, I've seen members' eyes gloss over every time I say this kind of stuff when it comes to minutes. But when you're looking back in 2, 3, 5, 10 years, and you don't find details there, you will be as ignorant as you were when you opened the document trying to find an answer. So to the level that to the degree that we can have substantive letters, substantive resolutions, detailed motions, detailed minutes, that is all to the good in the long term. One last thing. On the minutes, if you compare minutes from this month, and you compare them to minutes from the very same committee 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you're not even close. we've slacked, and we need to be better because we're also concerned about the institutional knowledge. So the DM, 2 DMs from now, and the members, 3 members from now, can have something that they can rely on that can help them the same way that we have what our predecessors put in place for us to rely on. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Is there a vice chair report? Okay, Rosa, do you have quick secretary notes?
Yes, thank you. Just in case for anyone that hasn't checked out our website, the calendar, I made a nice flyer for you to take a picture of and be here for the community board meetings in person. Here's if you want to take a picture. And just to share now, if you have like 2 absences, please, 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 you must show up next month. Otherwise, you'll have 3 absences, and then you cannot be absent a 4th time. Otherwise, you'll get a due process letter, and you will have to come into the executive committee to discuss your attendance. And I also wanted to remind everyone, as per our bylaws, members may be removed for failing to comply with attendance. If you are unsure of your attendance, please reach out. I am available. You guys have my phone number. Literally everyone has my phone number, email, just let me know. And for those members that are still trying to refresh themselves on what is excused absences or unexcused absences, as per our bylaws, a member may be properly excused from a meeting only for the following reasons: military service, jury duty, personal illness, or a death of a family member, or board business as directed and approved by the chairperson, and unexcused absences, family trips, vacation, work duties, classes, no childcare, unfortunately, birthday celebration, anniversaries, parties, as you can see where I'm going with this. So if you have any questions or you just want to check on your attendance, I'm here, available. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. Yes, Nilsa and then Beverly. Question.
It's not a question, but it's a comment. Could you just please explain that the term excused absence sounds like if I'm absent, I'm excused. That is not how the community board, in my understanding, looks at excused absence. It's an absence with a notation that there's a proper explanation so that if you go into due process, there's an understanding of the kind of absence. Can you clarify?
With the differentiation between excused and non-excused. So think of it as in school, right? You're out of class. You're not here. It still counts as you not being here. You're not present. And so what that means, though, when you do hit that threshold, let's say you had a really, 10%, but let's say my kids are in school, I should know this, 10%, right? But the reality is, what it helps us as executive committee, when we do have a hearing, let's say you've just had a rotten run of luck. You've had a death in the family. You got called up for jury, and any number of those things. We've seen that happen with board members where they've gotten ill, they battled, chronic illness, it's come up, it's flared up. That helps us determine and how we weigh out versus those people who just don't rock up or just I'm at work, or they just say, hey, I have this event to do. It helps us weigh out when we have the hearing. And that's why that differentiation is there. Make sense? Yeah. So again, think of it like when you're in school, you're just not present. So one, you had a doctor's note, the other one you did not. That plays a part. So Beverly, your question.
Right.
Yeah, just so we can have it on the recording. Thank you.
My questions was, what about religious observance?
So, and that's helpful. That is something it's not in our bylaws. So however, what we have tried our level best to do, and we haven't caught them all. We do, just come on up. We try to populate the calendar with the meetings to avoid those conflicts. And I think generally we've been pretty good, but okay, there have been occasional misses that happen. But yeah, we try to move the calendar around to accommodate that and be considerate to as many as we can do within reason, right? So go on, your
Let's take
question.
more time because I was going to talk about this, but the bylaws committee has considered possibly removing the language of excused absences altogether. That wouldn't mean that if you had these instances that when you came for your hearing, you would be able to express that and that would be considered. It just wouldn't be something that's being tracked all the time. The issue has been that there's a lot of confusion, as you can see tonight, by what this means. We haven't made a decision yet. Obviously, it'll have to be decided by the committee. But I mean, there are still people here, I think, that did not know the difference. And that, I think, actually causes more harm than good because you think you're going to not be marked absent and then you find out that you are. And just again, if there's a reason you couldn't make a meeting, the only recourse you had, even with the excused absences, is that when you go for your due process, you could explain those reasons. This would not prevent you from doing that if that change was implemented.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Okay. With that, thank you, Rosa, very much. Welcome, Derek, our new treasurer. He does not have a report, correct? But welcome to being up here with us in the limelight. We'll now move on to our business session. We have our first committee up, committee reports and action items, environment, open space and parks, and there are 4 action items.
Yes, so we had 2 meetings for the same month because of a holiday in October. So Connie Lee made a motion to provide a letter of support for the reconstruction of Peter Minuet Playground, PSMS 108. The motion was seconded by Russell Schuller and passed with 1 abstention from Mr. Gregg. By the way, just in case, the presentations are online, are on YouTube, just in case if you want to have a little background information on why we did these motions, letter of support, etc. Second item, Connie Lee made a motion to provide a letter of support for the resolution of the Wagner Pool Complex. The motion was seconded by Debbie Quinones and passed with 2 abstentions from from 2. Oh yeah.
Greg and Michelle, what's your
Yeah. From you, from Greg and Walter and Michelle, and 2 opposed, Malik and Ms. White. And then we also, Connie, made a motion to provide a letter of support for the reconstruction of the Eugene McCabe Field at PS 79M. The motion was seconded by Debbie Quinones and passed unanimously. Number 4, Chancellor Gregg made a motion to provide a letter of support for the Randos Island Park shoreline and pathway reconstruction. The motion was seconded by Michelle Wilshire Clement and passed unanimously. Again, all the presentation is already online, and we have a special presentation actually that they sent out because of the technology issues that we were having. Thank you.
So before we move forward, are there any questions on any of these 4 action items? Yes, Jessica Morris.
Thanks, Rosa. Just a point of clarification. Did these items come before the committee from the Parks Department all at once, or they're just being, a position is being taken all at the same time? Should I restate my question? Did all of these projects come to the committee through Parks Department, or were they a result of some other sets of actions that were brought to the committee? And were they all brought to the committee at the same time?
I'm not. So since we had 2 meetings in September, I'm just having a little.
Thank you.
So they all came, even the construction company, they all came and did a presentation and everything, like really well presentation. And then we voted on the following month because we had, like everyone to like set the information, and then we voted on the following, which is September 25th.
Thank you.
Malik?
Malik, you want to come over here and because I have
Offer clue.
the vice chair.
Except for number 2, that was presented on the day of, and we voted that day.
Thank you. Sage, your question.
I was gonna move to bundle everything and support the committee's recommendations, but I noticed that 2 is kind of, that was the only one that was not unanimously passed, except sort of number 1. Could we talk a little bit about what was going on with that?
With which one? With number 2?
Yeah.
What's your question specifically with number 2 then?
I'm wondering if there's a good reason not to vote in support of it.
So I know there was a lot of questions from members, and I know Connie specifically. They wanted a lot of modifications, but it's infrastructure only, not like the whole thing, like moving. Okay.
So for me, Malik, normally as a committee, we would like to review it for a month. And for me, I feel like that process wasn't taking place. So that's why I chose to not for it. Not to say that it's not a good plan and I won't vote for it or I don't want it, but the process for me counts. And for us to go through that process, that's what I, would like to do. And that's just me personally.
For me, I needed more information. There were just a lot of holes in the presentation, and without that information, I felt that I could not vote on it in good conscience.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I would like to move us forward, seeing no other questions. I will entertain bundling 1, since there seem to be no objections on it, the committee's recommendations for items 1, 3, and 4, which is number 1, Connie Lee made a motion to provide a letter of support for the reconstruction of Peter Minuet Playground. Number 3, Connie Lee made a motion to provide a letter of support for reconstruction of the Eugene McCabe Field at PS 79M. And number 4, Chancellor Gregg made a motion to provide a letter of support for the Randall's Island Park shoreline and pathway reconstruction. Is there a motion to bundle these items? Yes, Neil Sarama? You. All right, Neil Sarama moves to accept the committee's recommendations.
I'd like to second that, Carlos.
I think Candy beat you to it. But yes, next one. All those in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? All right, abstention to number 1, Chancellor Gregg. The motion carries. Next, we'll come to item number 2. Connie Lee made a motion to provide a letter of support of the reconstruction of the Wagner Pool Complex. The motion was seconded by Debbie Quinones and passed with 2 abstentions. Gregg, Wiltshire Clement, and 2 opposed, McCullough and White. This is a main motion on the floor, so it only needs 1 person to move to adopt the committee's recommendation. So, Asher Rodriguez? Asher Rodriguez moves to adopt the committee's recommendation on number 2. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
So is that John Green opposed, Malik McCullough opposed, Michelle Wiltshire Clement opposed?
John Green is in favor.
Opposed. Who was that spoke on the Zoom?
That was me. That was John Green. I voted yes.
John Green voted yes. Okay. Any abstentions? Okay. Good. Michelle, Greg. Okay. All right. Seeing that, the motion carries. Malik, you were the only opposed? And Agatha White, right? John Green was for it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Next is licenses and permits. Anne Marie Vasquez. And you can go through each of the action items and then we'll ideally bundle them. Yes. Yes, you can do that. It'll be up on the screen.
Right, good evening. All right, so for the liquor licenses, we have Supreme Eats Pizza and Pasta Corp. New application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 1590 Lexington Avenue, New York, New York, 10029 on 101st Street, 101st Street. The committee recommended that this application be approved. Lidion Alvarado Reyes, doing business as Indomable Coffee. New application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 228 East 116th Street, New York, New York, 10029, Second Avenue. This application was withdrawn. The committee recommends that this application be denied. 7, Adrian or Adrian Y. Jimena Corp., doing business as Restaurant San Cristobal Corp., renewal application for a wine, beer, and cider license number 1271382 for a restaurant located at 339 East 108th Street, New York, New York, 10035 First Avenue. The committee recommends that this application be denied. Dining out New York City, Best Lexington Pizza Corp., doing business as Kishua Nostra. New application for a sidewalk cafe for a restaurant located at 1634 Lexington Avenue, New York, New York, 10029, 103rd Street. The committee recommends that this application be denied. A motion to approve was made by Carlos Diaz, second by James Gray, and passed unanimously. Street activity permits. Street co-name honoring Honorable Bill Perkins, number 885647, October 4th, 2025. The committee recommends that this application be approved. Street co-name Honorable Franklin H. Williams, 885656, October 22nd, 2025. And the committee recommends that this application be approved. Cancer Awareness Walk Health Fair, number 889461, October 25th, 2025. The committee recommends that this application be approved. Trick or Streets, East Harlem, number 891624, November 6th, 2025. The committee recommends that this application be approved. And that's it. That was quick.
Yes, Candy.
Mike?
Could you come up for the mic so we have it in the recording, please?
So how come, good evening, everybody. How come we denied the license for?
Which one?
The name, the one that was denied.
Because if
Lidondin Alvarado.
if I'm correct, the paperwork wasn't submitted.
They didn't submit the application?
They withdrew the application.
They withdrew.
They withdrew. That's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I saw the Trick or Streets. Borinquen is part of that too. I don't see us on the list. October 31st. Wait, I'm lost. Espérate. That's Cary. That's Uptown Grand Central.
Okay, was there a presentation for that at the committee?
It wasn't even on the committee, on the list. But I got the approval from Sapos.
Okay, we'll check that in a moment. Yeah, it has to be presented to the committee, but Nilsa, your question.
I didn't approve myself.
Okay, hope an old lady understand this. Can I see item number 8? As it says, the committee recommends that this application be denied. A motion to approve was made by Carlos Diaz, seconded by James Gray, and passed unanimously.
This is
So you
wrong.
have, yeah,
This is
it's wrong.
We approved it. Sorry. We approved this. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. All right.
I
So,
go ahead.
so number 8, so everyone is clear. Best Lexington Pizza Corp, doing business Quechua Nostra. New application for a sidewalk cafe for a restaurant located at 1634 Lexington Avenue, 103rd Street. The committee recommends that this application be approved. That was a typo. So please, that's a typo.
Yeah.
All right. So we're all clear on that. So for the record, it was approved by the committee. So, okay. Any other questions? I will entertain, with that one correction on the record, bundling these for the committees, to adopt the committee's recommendation. Nilsa Arama? Okay, so Nilsa Arama makes a motion to approve to adopt the committee's recommendations, which were to number 5, which was approved. Number 6 was withdrawn and denied. Number 7 was denied. Number 8 was actually approved. Number 9 was approved. Number 10 was approved. Number 11 was approved, and number 12 was approved. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Madam.
We'll give it Carlos Diaz a second.
Okay, thank you.
Favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries.
So before we go into the next report, can Jose come up and talk a little bit about the street events? Because this came up at our committee meeting.
I'll permit it.
I know. Hey, everyone. Jose. So we've been organizing a lot of the businesses that are on 116th Street. There's been different associations, but for the most part, as you know, it's a lot of small businesses, a lot of mom and pops on 116. And I've been working with the businesses, and Elsie's been pushing, so it's been happening. So we're getting organized. We're having meetings. This month we sent a letter to the community board, to licensing in particular, just to let the community board be aware. A lot of the businesses there are in favor of the larger street closings, being the Puerto Rican Festival, the Cinco de Mayo, the Mexican Independence Day, but they are complaining and they're asking this board to consider no further street closings. It is affecting them severely economically. It used to be just a few, and as of late, it is a very numerous amount. It's almost like every weekend throughout the summer. It is their biggest complaint in that regard. We have been spoken to the council. Our council person, Diana Ayala, has been very helpful, and she's also helping us with other things that we need in the corridor on 116. We also spoke to the precinct, the 25th precinct, Joker Jackson here in her other capacity, because as you know, when there's a street closing, you're also pulling officers in a different direction, and that also causes like a big toll on the precinct as it is. But in this capacity from let me get it right because we kind of renamed it recently, Little Mexico Village 116th Street Association. I know it's a mouthful. We're gonna have to, this is why people abbreviate things, but that's the new name. And I believe I'm the only non-Mexican on there, being Ecuadorian, but they've adopted me for the time being. I don't know which last name I'll be given yet, but we'll figure that out. But it is a serious, as these economic times are difficult, a lot of these businesses are suffering, and I'd like the community board to be aware of that. That's why they're bringing this up, because these street closings are causing them like substantial economic. I'm also on that block, but my business is a little different. I own El Barrio Car Service, so it doesn't affect me as much as because I don't sell anything there. But for these businesses that have restaurants and food, and a street closing kind of kills their day on a weekend, which is where they would make most of their money.
Thank you.
After that, we also had,
Also, the churches also complained. My bad. So the churches also complained because obviously there's quite a number of churches there. And then when that's happening, thank you, Kyoka, they are not able to worship. They're not able to, and sometimes they don't have this information ahead of time, and then it causes like a mass chaos there.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Beverly, you have a question, and then Marcel.
Hi, just for clarity, I was looking at my notes for emails. Was it, you have 20 items that was supposed to be done? And y'all cut down now down to 12 for today for licensing? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Real quick, as we bring up Marcel Bandima up to go over the Human Services minutes, I just want to, two things. Thank you to the Museum of City of New York for hosting us here yet again. We are guests in their home, and just as a reminder, we have a hard out by 9:30, and it is approximately 8:30. So let's be mindful with our reports and just move things along. So thank you so much. Marcel, Human Services.
Good evening, everyone. So we had a lengthy meeting, but it was very productive. I encourage you all to watch it when you get a chance. So what we did, we worked on our budget priorities. We updated and we reviewed our budget priorities for the new year. We introduced 3 new requests. The first, Health and Hospitals expansion of safe syringe and needle drop-off locations citywide. The second, expansion and extended hours of farmers markets in East Harlem. And the last being a request or a promotion of programs to decrease children's emergency department visits for asthma and prevention of injuries, essentially. I'd also like to invite everyone to attend our upcoming event this Saturday, the Fall Festival for Open Streets, Trick or Treats 2025. It will be located on 115th Street between Park Avenue and Madison Avenue. Any questions? Yes.
Yes,
Hi,
Emery,
Hi.
please come up and
Hey, 1 second.
You just mentioned the open streets, right?
Yes.
Or,
Trick or Treats.
correct.
Mhm.
That wasn't on the agenda for the committee to approve.
Can I,
license.
can I chime in, please?
yes, go ahead, Isaac.
We already have our permit for this. That's already been approved by SAPO, and we have that already. There was no need for us to come before the community board for this.
Correct, I do also, but you always have to go in front of the license and permit for an approval.
Or,
Can you please let him know because
I think it's just out of, it's typically, so if they have the permit, they don't necessarily have to, but in the same sense, we try to encourage people to do so. So that's all I think the comment
Yeah.
is being made. for.
Uptown Grand Central also has their permit approved and they still come and go in front
Okay.
of the license and permit. That's what we do.
So I think, Asher, real quick,
can I make a comment, please?
yes, Isaac, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just for that sake, can it just be reiterated that it wasn't required because that interruption kind of throws people off? We did go through all the proper channels for our permit, and I don't want it to ever come across like we didn't.
I think what was being, Asher, go ahead with your question, and then I'm going to.
It was, correct me if I'm wrong, Isaac, but you did mention it at full board multiple times at the Youth and Education Committee meeting and the Human Services Committee. Pretty much every meeting that you have gone to, you have mentioned it, correct?
Yes, you are correct, Asher.
I don't believe I interrupted, right? There was, I asked.
Not at all. It was just a question. But
Right,
let's
it was a question, and I asked just simply because it's a process, and I wanted to make sure that you were approved in the license committee as well. That's the reason why I asked about Borinquen too, because it's part of the process. That's all.
All right. All right. So what I'm going to say is that it will be collegial for us going forward if in our different hats that we wear outside of this board, that even if we have the thank you very much, Jessica, that if we are going to have another event that may or may not be required, it would be common courtesy just to do going forward. So let's be collegial and just do that as colleagues. And I think, that's how we build bridges and continue to work together. So I think we've hopefully cleared the air. and we can continue to move forward. David, real quick, and so
Mike set up in the back of center, so we don't have to do this. Anyway, my understanding is like on 101st Street, we have open streets. They received the permit and they do things every weekend, right?
you
They do,
back in the past, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They do not come before us every time they do an event. It's when you request the permit, you come before us. The permit could be for every weekend. You don't come every month to re-get a new permit. That's already,
And I think there could be some of them.
Right.
So when Children's Aid, as an example, would come for their summer program this in August,
Right.
right? You would come and present that once.
Right.
Right. But you would do that annually and present that. And I
Right.
think there may have been some misunderstanding. So let us investigate it and look into it so we get clear answers. That's all. Yeah. So that's fine. Thank you.
So I have a question. Was the Community Board 11, did we provide funding for this street fair?
You did not provide any money for this event. So we are Open Streets partner, and to the point David just made, we did events all summer, and we didn't come before the committee for every single event we did. We actually did about 7. This is probably the 8th one coming up. There was money given for the summer programming. I didn't ask y'all for any money for the fall festival, if that is what you're asking me.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I'd like to, again, I want to remind everyone we have to be out of here by 9:30 and we still have to get through a bulk of items. And no, that's a hard out. We're like kicked out the door, to remind Anne Marie, one.
I can't hear if she's speaking.
Oh, I said, I just want to clarify with Open Streets, because I've been doing this for a couple of years now. So the summer events, you only come once, right? To report for the whole summer, right? So if you're doing it for 2 months, you come in the first time, you report, it's gonna be from this time to this time, and that's it. The Halloween one is different. It's separate, even though it's Open Streets, it's a separate event.
Just to be very, very transparent, we went through the process we were supposed to go through. And it would be, I think you guys are really taking a lot of attention away from the work that is being done to criticize a process. This is not a secret to the community board. You guys weren't going to approve it or disapprove it because we didn't need to go through that process. And out of the courtesy, I've been bringing this up at every meeting as Actra brought up. Again, if it's, I think when we talk about being collegiate, I think we need to get, maybe perhaps there should be something that's more concrete rather than a practice. That way we know even if you got a permit, you still need to come. That way it's clear, because what is being brought up now is not clear.
One last thing from Keo, thank you. One last thing from Keoka Jackson, then I'm moving the
I'm
agenda
changing the
along.
subject because this is crazy. I just have a question in regards to, is this a is this a CB11 Human Services event? And if it is, would the rest of the members be receiving information or a flyer so that we can share to the rest of the community?
Yes, this is an event done in partnership with CB11. All of the events that I try to organize in the community, I find a way to bring CB11 in so that CB11's name is attached to even more than it actually does. And I can definitely, Keoka, send you a flyer as soon as I stop talking here. I'm at my computer right now. I'm just down at a conference in Tennessee, but I will send it to you right now.
Okay, thank you. Nye Whitaker, you had a question, and then I'm moving the agenda along.
Thank you, everyone.
Nye? We can't hear you, Nye. Land use, you're up. Actually, housing's up, housing, then land use.
I'm gonna go quick. We had the 2 contentious things last month. We had an action item. You could put it up there for everyone to see. The first thing I'm just gonna talk about is 2162 3rd Avenue is the proposed supportive housing. I reached out because They are going to be closing on the property in December. Now, what happens from then to when they open is a 4 or 5 year process. But the board has now heard the presentation, heard feedback from the from the community, had another meeting. So the goal is to take a position on this preliminarily at the November meeting. They do not need a land use action item. I asked them. They're going to build it as of right. They do need city financing. I think we all saw our city council person is not in favor of this project. I'm not expressing my opinion or the opinion of the committee. I'm just saying that I think that the committee is going to have to take a position. So that'll be next month. We have very detailed minutes about everything else. And then we had an action item. I'll just read it from here. It was a motion made by me, Adem Bria, to oppose the siting of the proposed crisis residential support center at 420 East 117th Street or any other such residential support center in East Harlem. And the motion passed with one opposed.
Okay, great. All right, so this is a main motion. If there are no questions on the matter, the motion is made by Adem Bria to oppose the siting of the proposed crisis residential support center at 420 East 117th Street.
Or any other.
Or any other such residential support center in East Harlem, seconded by Marie Charles and passed with one opposed, Morris. Yes, Malik? Oh, there's a hand? Yes, I know. Naya messaged with her. Okay. Okay. Malik McCullough moves to accept the committee's recommendation. This is the main motion on the floor. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Jessica Morris abstains. The motion carries. Thank you. Nye Whitaker, you're recognized. You had a question? We still cannot hear you. Still can't hear you. Okay, you sent an email to she's having audio issues, so I will check out what that comment or question is. So Jason Vina, we have a land use.
Good evening, everyone. Jason. We had a really interesting meeting. It was very short and to the point. We had two presentations, one informational presentation by the proposed Harlem Junior Tennis and Educational Program facility. They were telling us about a potential ULUP and/or development project. We recommended that they go to Youth and Education to seek support. Second to that, our action item, as shown on the board, was a presentation and a request for a letter of support for the Metropolitan Museum of Arts, for LPC, Landmarks Preservation Commission, the proposed South Side Chiller Plant, and Public Wayfindings Signage Plan. A motion was made by Jessica Elliott to provide a letter of support for the museum's, the Metropolitan Museums of Arts application to Landmarks Preservation Commission, the Public Wayfinding Signage Plan. It was then seconded by Nye Whitaker and approved unanimously.
Okay.
Thank you.
If there are no questions on the matter, number 14, motion by Jessica Elliott to provide a letter of support for Metropolitan Museum of Arts application to Landmarks Preservation Commission regarding the Public Wayfinding Signage Plan, second by Nye Whitaker and approved unanimously. It's a main motion. So, Candy? Committee's recommendation. Candy moves to accept the committee's recommendation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Next, we have Public Safety and Transportation.
Hello, everyone. So I'd like to make this as possible. We had our update, and we had the 2-3 and the 2-5 precincts. We did have,
Speak into the mic for us, please.
oh, you can't hear me? Sorry about that. Okay, so we did have the 2-3 and the 2-5 precincts come and give a report. We did not have the FDNY, but we are working on outreaching to get the FDNY to come. And we had a lot of discussion with our district needs as well as everybody else that did and we had 2 action items. But before I get to the 2 action items, I would like to show that this QR code, we're going to be having a Public Safety and Transportation Committee conference that is going to be coming up in the middle of November. So we are looking for volunteers to come. We're also looking for participants to come and engage with the elected officials and the individuals that do come and speak and present at it. There will be tabling. So please take a picture of this and fill in what you would like to participate in. After that, our actions items are, I will read them. Leslie Colon made a motion to support a neighborhood loading zone request east side of 3rd Avenue between East 122nd and 123rd Street from non-parking Tuesday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. to truck loading only Monday, Friday, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. The motion was seconded by Christina Johnson and Pat. That's one. The second one, Sage Mason made a motion to provide a letter of support for the proposed co-naming of the southwest corner of 126th Street and Lexington Avenues as Gerard Smith Way. The motion was seconded by Carlos Diaz and passed with 2 abstentions.
Carlos, if you can mute, please. Okay, so if there are no questions, number 14 and 15 were both motions that were approved by the committee. Is there a motion to bundle these and accept the committee's recommendation? Beverly Pavone? Okay, so Beverly Pavone moves to bundle the 2 items for the committee's recommendations. Is there a second? Vinny Torres seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Any abstentions? 1 abstention. Who's that? Jewel Jones and Keoka Jackson. Okay, the motion carries. Please, everyone, go scan the QR code. We'd like you to show up and support the work of all of our committees. So please. Yeah, can you just speak a little bit more about the event for November, real quick?
The date and time, and location.
Now I'm going to forget everything that I literally just said. I apologize. It's the Saturday of November the 15th. It is starting, we're going to be partnering with Civitas, so it's starting at 9:30 in the morning for a bike run until 10:30. Then there's a continental breakfast and registration from 10:30 to 11. At 11 o'clock is when there will be currently 3 different keynote speakers, narrowing it down to 1, or to have a panel of all 3 with the district attorney's office, with other individuals that have already said that they would come. And then afterwards, there's a lunch with an interactive discussion with some of the community agencies that come. And then after that, there's tabling. I'm going as detailed as I can.
Okay, all right.
The location is at the Silberman Building, excuse me, I'm sorry about that, which is at East 119th Street, which is the Hunter property.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Everyone scan the QR code and show up and volunteer. Nye, we're going to try. You're being voluntold. Nye, we're going to try one more time. Yes, we can
Can
hear
you hear
you.
me? Yay! I really, Chair, thank you so much for your patience. Just had one thing to say, which is that the event planner for the Museum of the City of New York on Tuesday at the end 92Y was inducted along with me into the top 50 power players in the events industry. So I just wanted to thank the Museum of the City of New York for supporting our board and hosting the event, for the work that they do. They just had an event with the 90 New York One to talk about the mayor's race. Sorry, I'm on a bus and so it's noisy. but I just want to thank them for supporting us and acknowledge her work. That was it.
All right, thank you very much, Nye. All right, come on up, Asher. David, quick.
So first, I just want to say something about the project, the Angel Project. They own that property as right. So they're building. They came before us at the full board meeting one time, said hi, and then never followed up. But they are able to build that project, which is going to be 3 gyms by right. And we have not negotiated any use or public use of that space. So we do invite them back. But very quickly, before Asher presents on the committee, and I'm sorry, I meant to go on during the announcements with the groundbreaking. You have that picture? So in 2018, as many of you know, Children's Aid Society had closed their center, and they were in the process of a rebuild, which took 7 years to get to the point of the groundbreaking that we had yesterday. And I want to highlight, there were so many pictures of wonderful events, Life Changers Church, Children's Aid Society, who were the originally owners of the property, sold the property and have developed. And I really want to highlight these young people right here that are between the age of 9 and 10. That is our select chorus. They sang yesterday home from the Wiz. And what it really is these kids, when we closed the center, would have been 2 years old, 3 years old. They would have been part of our Head Start program. They would have been playing out in that field. And what really, with all the pictures we took and all the kids, this is for the future. And as Children's Aid has been here for the last 70 years at the East Harlem Center, in 26 we'll be celebrating 70 years in that space, in that land. And with the church, who's over 80 years, we are looking to continue that work and really want to thank all the community members, John Green, Xavier, Nilsa, and a whole host of others that have all worked. Now I'm going to ask just one quick question. How many people in this room right now and on the screens can raise their hand, have been members of Children's Aid, have been affiliated, their children, or have worked with Children's Aid? So I don't know if Nye's working, but Nye has worked with Children's Aid as a consultant in many degrees. Malik, oh, I didn't know that. Sage, small world. I got to know more about that. Yes. See, so there are so many people, even in Children's Aid, we don't know how many people have come through in our programs. And really what we want to do is call and bring that awareness. So if you see, there's about maybe 8, 9 people in here out of 50 as a member group, you're saying, good portion of your percentage, 20%, were Children's Aid members. And so we are deeply rooted in this community. We plan to stay, and we have some asks, because we're in the process of going for RFPs. Now, I'm going to say this. The city usually does 10-year RFPs, which is good. It allows an agency to project for the future. Sadly, this term, they've only done 6-year RFPs. So the commitment to children is not even to get them through elementary school. Thank you.
I just wanted to add quickly, like a look. Oh, wait, I'm.
Reason I'm so passionate. See there? That little white boy looking like Danny Partridge in the center. That's in 1975. When I mean, God damn. So in 1975, when I was 13 years old, I walked through the doors of the Frederick Douglass Center in Children's Aid. I'm good enough. The knees may give out, but I'm still surviving. But my point is, it takes a village. It takes people. It takes a commitment. And Children's Aid, David, I'm committed. We had a wonderful celebration yesterday and looking to the future of this community and serving them. Thank you.
I will be 10 times quicker than David, but I just wanted to add something quickly. Back in that other photo, the kid on the end with the orange, he was actually one of my first students in my first after school group there. And it was very interesting after when we took the kids out to pizza, he was asking so many questions. And I didn't realize something like the center, which was a major part of my life when I was his age, he didn't know anything about. He didn't even know there was a building there. So it's going to be good for them to see the next thing that goes up. Can we go back to the thing? Because I want to just get through this.
Pulling up the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we had a pretty eventful meeting. We had one presentation from, oh, I forgot the actual name of the thing, and I can't find my notes. It was, oh, Prep for Prep, which they basically were, they send kids in our district and also across the city to different private schools, boarding schools for people who can't necessarily afford it. So it was a very good program. They didn't have any asks specifically when they came to see us, but we invited them back if they do have any asks. And then our two action items were were in regard to the RFP. I'm just gonna completely read out the motion because it's pretty self-explanatory, but Isaac Scott made a motion to support a partnership agreement between Community Board 11 and the Children's Aid Society with the following goals: increase attendance and participation in youth and education meetings, to conduct community board forums that address the needs of youth, to conduct activities and advocate to support the needs of youth, D, to facilitate safe spaces for peer and mentorship. And basically, this is taken straight from our youth and education goals. And David could correct me if I'm wrong. For this process, they have to basically get different signatures from different community organizations because we're within a community-based school. That's correct, right? Okay. I I will repeat what he said into the microphone.
Okay.
So basically, they want to see that Children's Aid has partnership with other advocacy groups within the community. The motion was seconded by John Green and passed with 2 present not voting, me and David. Isaac Scott made a motion to provide a letter of support to Children's Aid Society in support of their application for an RPF. It should be RFP. With the Department of Youth and Community Development to continue to expand after-school programming at Lexington Academy. The motion was seconded by Jessica Morris and passed with 2 present not voting, me and David. Basically, this will help. Currently, we had a few years ago 200 after-school slots, and it all of a sudden, maybe like 2 years ago, got cut to 100. So, and just for context, at school, we have like a wait list every year. Like the parents like rush to get those spots. So we're trying to get more spots.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to bundle these two, number 16 and 17. I'll entertain a motion to bundle. Yes, Nelson Rama. So Nelson Rama moves to bundle and support items 16 and 17 for youth and education. There's a second. Adam Briha.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? And present not voting would be Giordano and Rodriguez. And so I get Jose up here for EcoDev. One thing I just want to say, and David, I didn't get to give remarks, but I wanted to talk about how long it took and how, and that Nilsa and I, Matthew Washington, a former chair with Gail Brewer, and to talk about what Gail Brewer cared about that. And we asked for those books to be open. And he literally said, you play a good poker face, but he said, I could see the blood pressure and the red when they were saying, and because the kids, like when I first, just to give you an idea, like what the work, when we were able finally to come back to the community, I would walk everyone knows I love my dogs. I had Dinah, and Dinah would come during the play streets, and kids that had fears of dogs fell in love with her and vice versa. And that was one of those moments, and that's where my journey and interaction began. And that's how we all build this village. So I just wanted to give something both. It was nice because if it weren't for Oren Everhar, who is a developer, could have said, I'm going to do as a right, because that was our 7A. This is why, guys, look and read all the materials. I just want to get that across. That was the power of a community board coming together and everyone listening and leaning in. So thank you for building. Yeah. Exactly. So the sign of the most successful deal is you don't get 100% of what you want, but everyone walks away happy. So thank you for that. Thank you for that check. Thank you very much. All right, Jose, without further ado.
I want to thank my committee. We were able to get a lot of work done in a short amount of time. And I say that because in September, we did not have quorum. We had to go through district needs, and we were able to crunch it down very quickly. We had one motion, which is a motion by Rosa Diaz, to donate $500 to 2025 East Harlem Holiday Tree Committee, who presented earlier today and still with us here. Seconded by Marcel Bondina, passed unanimously, which we'll do a motion soon. I also wanted to, there was a couple of members that reached out to me because in our capital needs, we removed the libraries, just to make clear. That was removed because both of those projects already got funded, as I explained to those individuals, so they understood. They were funded. 125th, we did the ribbon this year, earlier this year, and Aguilar is on the way as well. But in the budget request and the expense request, we still have capital requests for, excuse me, in the expense, we still have the requests for funding to make sure that our libraries have all the after schools and educational pieces that are necessary, because there was that question.
Okay. All right, great. Are there any questions? Yes. All right, there's a main motion on the floor by Rosa Diaz to donate the $500 to the 2025 East Harlem Holiday Tree Committee, seconded by Marcel Lima, and passed unanimously. Sage, you would like to move to support the committee's recommendation, correct? Doesn't need a second, it's a main motion. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Bill Jones is abstaining. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. All right, district needs and budget. Sage?
Cool. Everybody, Sage Mason. We have pretty much finished our statement of district needs and budget requests. So thank you, everybody who helped out. A special shout out to my small but mighty team, district needs and budget, David Giordano, Janelle Satija, Jessica Elliott. Also shout out to Angel Mescaine, who's our liaison, who guided us through everything. The committee chairs and vice chairs were really helpful in organizing their committees, getting the narratives done, ranking their budget requests. And you can look in the meeting materials for today and see sort of the final product that we have. I think it looks pretty good. If you review it and have any questions, just let me know, or feel free to ask a question now. Yeah, also thank you to everybody on the board who weighed in on budget requests and who helped, especially at the Party on Park, get people to fill out the survey. It was really good just seeing all these responses come in right before the deadline on October 10th. And I'm just happy with the process here. I think the main purpose of the community board is to help the government serve the community. In this case, it's the city. And this is how we interact with the city and tell them what we need and where we should allocate funds. So I think it's one of the most important things that we do, and I think it's incredible how collaborative the process is. I think this is one of the only things where we really engage everybody on the board and try and get the word out to as many people in the public as possible. And I hope that the statement that we have is a reflection of that. Second thing is that this month at District Needs and Budget, I presented a tool that we are sort of rolling out to help streamline the process throughout the year of creating new budget requests. So I was going to talk about it at executive, but I think now I'll just talk to all of the chairs and hopefully we can get it on the agenda for me to demonstrate sort of how it works at all of the meetings next month. But it allows members of the public and people on the committee, anytime somebody has an idea for something that's going to improve the community, you can, in that moment, write down what that, fill out like a Google form. That automatically gets transferred to our budget request worksheet, where committees can evaluate whether they want to add that request to their annual requests. You can edit it, and you can accompany any budget request with an action item like a letter or resolution. And I think doing that throughout the year and sort of instilling this practice of somebody comes to us with a need or something that they want done in the community, and immediately following up and saying, this is how we can address this right now. I think that's just going to snowball into us being more responsive to the needs of the community, and making people feel like they come to the board and something happens when they do that. So be on the lookout for that. It's pretty cool. It took a lot of like tech stuff. I'm happy with it. I think the only remaining thing is to Xavier, I don't know, Angel, should we make a motion to approve?
Yes, we will. This is a main action item because you all voted on it at the meeting, so yes, it is. If there are no questions, this is where we vote to finalize. And you have a question, Jessica Morris? A question? Yes, if you can come up, please.
Thank you very much. I did take a moment and read the report that was put forward, and I want to acknowledge the committee's efforts to not only maintain what has been the statement of top priority, but providing additional information in support of that top priority, while also advocating in a very diplomatic way for the second and third priority, as being a synergistic, kind of all those things working together in support of progress in the district. So well done and thank you. It's not a question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Just having originally chaired that committee at its inception when it was created by the bylaws, it's no small, undertaking. So we appreciate the chasing and everyone. So I'm gonna now bring it to a vote. Yes, Jason. Okay, Jason Villanueva moved to approve of the fiscal year 2027 Statement of District Needs and Budget Requests. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. All right. Thank you, Sage.
Sure. So I think the day before Halloween, we're going to submit this to the city. That's when it's due to the Office of Management and Budget, the mayor's office. The mayor and various city agencies are going to evaluate all of our requests and how we rank them, and that's really how you guys rank them. One cool difference this year versus in years past is that we don't have to rank requests to different city agencies against each other. In the past, we've had to say that like having more police officers on the street is more important than repairing windows in a school building. And that just doesn't make sense because the NYPD doesn't really care how we rank the school stuff because all they're looking at are the NYPD requests and if they can satisfy them or not or fulfill them. So this year there were far fewer conflicts and it made the process a lot easier because we could just say, these are all of the requests to, I don't know, HRA, for example, Human Resources Administration. And there's only one, there might be two. I think Housing sends stuff and Human Services sends stuff to HRA. But for almost every agency, there's only one committee that sends requests to them. And then that committee just says, our request 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the order. And it just made the process a lot easier for us. So we will send all of that to OMB on October 30th. We will get responses back initially in the mayor's preliminary budget in January. And city agencies will say in the preliminary budget sort of what their initial responses are. Later in, I think, May, we will get the executive budget from the mayor's office. And in the middle of that, we will also have public hearings and opportunities to engage with all of the city agencies. We want to sort of turn it into more of a practice that and I'm going to work with all of the committees to try and make this happen, as soon as the feedback comes back in the preliminary budget in January, we can start figuring out how we want to treat our requests for fiscal year 28. And that'll make use of the tool that I just mentioned as well. And then the city agencies will hear us. In May, they will have their executive budget. And then in June, they will have the adopted budget, which will become the city budget, yeah, I think July 1st, 2026.
Okay. Thank you for distilling the process in detail. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sage. Thank you, Malik. Just reminding you, we have to be out of here at 9:30, which means packed up and out. So it is now 9:09. Executive Committee, we had our meeting after full board. There were two items that are going to be on the screen that we just need to ratify that were licenses. The first one was LGBT 116 LLC doing business as Bodega Paradise. Yes, the same one that we've had many discussions about. New application for a full liquor license for the restaurant located at 1637 Park Avenue, stores 1 and 2. It was motion to deny made by Adem Brihan, second by Nilsa Rama, and passed unanimously. A couple notes. We spent a significant amount of time discussing this, asked a series of questions. The applicant in question became combative at one point, and it was an argumentative and wouldn't even let people speak. So as Angel referred, he said, you know, to the credit, I let people speak and we hear it out. That's what we did, but still, they couldn't answer the questions. Based on our observations and what was presented, we took a position to deny. 22, Colina Bar Corp. Renewal application for a full liquor license number 127-2267 for a restaurant located at 2263 Second Avenue. This had a series of noise complaints from an individual. So we, have tried to work with the gentleman. So a conditional motion was made. It was Adem Brihan made a motion to approve with the conditions that the applicant takes steps within a week to install soundproofing and complete the construction within 3 months. The applicant will need to provide the proof. The motion was seconded by Rosa Diaz and passed unanimously. So those are two motions. I will entertain a motion to combine the two. Yes, Asher. Huh? Yeah, say that again? So, yes,
I was pointing at
you have a question, Russell? Okay, all right, have a seat, Asher, real quick. Yeah,
It's been an ongoing situation and has been described. I went to visit that place in Bodega Paradise, even though this gentleman was a pain in the behind or a challenge, when he was saying things, he made every change that had to be made.
Speak into the mic, please.
Excuse you?
he said, speak into the mic.
Okay. I thought I was. This is Russell Schuler speaking. I went to visit the establishment several weeks ago. In its last formation that I've seen, even though I've heard it, it went from one type of business to another type of business to another type of business. But what I saw recently, every modification that he had to make, he made. Even though the board voted against him, what I saw was a sports bar. What I saw were people coming there to do business. I see him as a person trying to do business in the community. Whether or not he had resistance, whether he had a personality conflict and clashes, the gentleman is here to do business, whether we voted for him or not. It needs to be said. If we went in there today, you would see what I saw. And what others saw before that no longer existed. Wants to do business.
All right, Asher?
Motion to approve both of the committee's recommendations.
Okay. So Asher moves to approve the committee's recommendations number 21 and 22. Is there a second?
Second.
Rosa Diaz seconds. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Jones is opposed, Jewel Jones is opposed for number 2. 22, sorry. Any abstentions? Jason Villanueva abstains for both? All right. The motion carries. All right, with that, we have bylaws. And then will be our elections committee.
All right, we didn't propose any new amendments, and this was in September. Our meeting is going to be this coming Monday. We couldn't get one in with the holidays before full board. We're hoping, we had a long conversation. There were some proposals we went over. They are in your minutes. I think 3 of the 4 of them. The bulk of the meeting was Sage Mason. He's a member of the bylaws committee. He did a great job with this proposed standing committee, board oversight. Essentially, it would be, if accepted, and I'll let him speak to it, absorbing office oversight and kind of expanding on that. So with that said, I'm going to let him briefly speak about it. We're not voting on anything tonight. Nothing's been proposed. And if any of you are interested, everything he did, and it's a lot of work, is in the bylaws committee folder. So I'll let him speak about that a little bit more, but if you're interested, I would suggest taking a look at it.
Sage? Andrew?
Yeah, so the Board Oversight Committee is a proposal we've been talking about for a couple months. I've got some great feedback from members of the board, from Nilsa Aramo, really helped sort of craft this thing in her experience as having been chair of the board and also now chair of board of office oversight, which will be transitioning, assuming the committee supports this, you guys support it, transitioning to become the Board Oversight Committee. The purposes of the Board Oversight Committee, sort of 5 parts to it. One is board member training, continuing education, and getting feedback on the experience of board members. So figuring out what board members want to get out of being a board member on the community board and finding ways to implement practices that allow you to feel like you're making the difference that you want to make and the reason you joined the board in the first place. 2 is we got some pushback on using the word adjudicate, but dealing with disputes that arise between board members, between staff and board members, between staff and members of the public. Anytime somebody has like a complaint or a grievance, or something that they just want to talk to somebody about or have dealt with, I think we've sort of seen bits of that tonight that we got through it. Figuring out just how to resolve those, and that would be an opportunity to go to this committee. And I'm going to propose, first we're going to meet on Thursday and sort of talk about everything. And then at the committee meeting on Monday, I will propose and present sort of the specifics of all of these. And there are already materials in the Google Drive folder that everybody already has access to. Then the Board Oversight Committee would also be in charge of interpreting and reviewing the bylaws. So, for example, last month, there was a disagreement about exactly how a public hearing should be conducted. We've gotten some guidance, but really there is no clear rule on how we should do that. Some guidance in the city charter and from the law department related to ULURP review says that it's for the community boards to decide, but also maybe that kind of public hearing is different from the kind of public hearings that we do sometimes. So it's really up in the air, and it would be the Board Oversight Committee that just says, like, this is the rule. And we would follow that and rely on, advice from the law department and anybody else who is a mandatory authority on this. Then we would also do due process procedures. So attendance, it's become sort of awkward where somebody who is struggling with attendance goes to the executive committee, and sometimes it's members of the executive committee, and it's just like, what do you do about that? Like, nobody's gonna say, like, I want to kick my buddy off the board. So just having an alternate forum for those sorts of disputes, and also freeing the executive committee to deal with like the business of the board rather than procedural issues that really don't have anything to do with like what the committees have going on. So that's okay. And then the last thing is the Board Oversight Committee would help the district manager hire staff when necessary. Right now, there's sort of like a unclear process about how that happens, and we would just make that clearer and really define what the role is of the board in assisting with that. But deferring to the district manager, who's in the best position to figure out what staffing needs and experience needs, the board has. Yeah.
Okay, one quick question because it's 9:19.
Hello, I'm sorry. On the last item, I just want to say my comment. It is not unclear how we hire staff here. It has never been unclear how we hire staff here. There's a process. The district manager gets the resumes, there's a vetting. He presents it to the chair, the vice chair, and other people. There is a team that reviews them. And in the past, then there is a person selected or to brought forth, and the board votes on it. That is very, from my opinion, as a boss, very time consuming and unnecessary when we are not working directly with that person. The people who are working with that is the office manager and the office staff. And in my opinion only, that should be the domain of the district manager, where he vets. The board obviously will be informed, but he's the one that has to work with them. So that's the only change. That I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think that 50 people who are volunteers, who are appointed here for a certain period of time, needs to get into a city hire, right? But we need to work with that person. And the person who will be working with that person day to day, will be supervising and training, is the district manager. So if he finds someone and then we go against his, his decision, right? Well, not his decision. Just think about it if you hire someone and your boss takes away your power. So to me, that's the last thing. So I would have the district manager be able to do that the way it was outlined initially on a recommendation at that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Nilsa. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I misspoke. Listen to Nilsa. That's the reason for the district manager chain. And
Right.
if anybody has any thoughts or ideas, just let me know. And I'll try to incorporate it before Thursday and then also before Monday. And feel free to come to the meeting on Monday when we talk
Yes.
about it in depth.
Thank you.
I just want to thank, I know he's not here and he's not on the board anymore, but Kenneth for all the work he did.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, Elections Committee, Jessica Morris. It is 9:21.
We have 5 minutes, and then we get 4 minutes to get out the door. All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity to stand up here in front of you and help steward a process that will, if executed successfully, ensure a peaceful transition of power at a critical time in the history and process of how community boards conduct business. So I just want to acknowledge elections committee members. Pascal Hanou, can you raise your hand? Pascal Hanou, Russell Schuler, John Green, who is up on the screen, thank you, John, and Kyoka Jackson, myself, Jessica Morris. We've been working together. We met first after the committee was announced on September 29th. We reviewed the bylaws. Very important to understand what the kind of letter of the law is as far as our responsibility in executing this process. We discussed communications, timelines, and most importantly, the thing we've just been through is the nomination period. Thank you all very much for your robust participation and engagement throughout that process. It was, by and large, very successful, so thank you. Some things are a little bit different than in past years, namely the close of the nomination period. It's still open. If you have a last-minute nomination that has not already been nominated, I will read the list in just a couple of minutes. Please, you're welcome. The floor is open. So we discussed the importance of criteria for officers and things that we've heard about all night: attendance, enforcing aspects of the bylaws relative to behavior in consideration, and more importantly, the types of other measures that seem to go without thinking, that you've been on the board for a year, that you are not a member of the elections committee. Those things, we instituted a process to make sure that everybody was fairly considered in their nomination. So with the close of the nomination period, we're moving towards the election, and I just want to say the difference between a nominee and a candidate. there's not very much. There's a few points of participatory criteria that nominees, confirmed nominees, of which there are many in the room, thank you very much, need to fulfill, namely a candidate questionnaire, which will be circulating soon. Elections has a workshop meeting tomorrow to finalize some of those details. There is the opportunity to participate in a candidate forum, which everyone was notified about today. If participation in that candidate forum is not possible due to conflicts, because God knows we all have lives, we will do our very best to ensure that you don't miss that opportunity to engage with your fellow board members. Additionally, we have a call with the New York Public Library, 125th Street branch, to potentially utilize some space with the new renovation up there. Saturday afternoon in November, TBD. So whether we work during the week or whether we're engaged with our families in the weekend, that's hopefully a part of the process. So a few key considerations, and I don't know if the clock ever started, but it's still at 3 minutes, so I'm going to keep talking real quick, is this thing called electioneering. We all want to maintain our peace in life and not be unnecessarily badgered by one another vying for a vote, ultimately. Electioneering is any effort by individuals to persuade voters, you all are voters, to build support for or against other candidates. So please don't do that, especially not within the space of committee meetings up ahead in November. That is sanctuary space, not to be used for the process of electioneering in any sort of way. So if there's any questions, err on the side of caution. Just don't do it. Would be much appreciated. However, we will have an opt-in process where those who do want to engage can opt in and be engaged. So stay tuned, more coming, check your emails, all good things. Ask a question, elections, we're always here. Candidate Forum, Silverman School of Social Work at Hunter College and the Center for Puerto Rican Studies Central Gallery has graciously offered to host us next Wednesday evening, 6:15 to 8 o'clock. Format TBD, and again, there will be additional opportunities. To announce the ballot, and then we can all, it's not quite a ballot yet, it's just these are confirmed nominees. There's still criteria to meet. We're moving in the right direction. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I won't respond as quickly as I have been in the past few days. We're going to kind of step back and.
There's one question from Rosa Diaz.
Rosa.
Yeah, I have two questions. One with regards to attendance, right? The candidate or nominee has to abide by a certain attendance. Like how close? Is it within the 6 months, within the 3 months or whatever? And then what if this nominee doesn't show up at the time that we're conducting the elections?
So we did follow the bylaws and looked at a six-month period. We also took into consideration the due process proceedings that happened in September. And each nominee, as part of their confirmation, and happy to provide a memo on the Elections Committee operations, which have done the best to build a strong record and administer a very fair and transparent process for all nominees. That every nominee has received a review that went through all of those points of consideration using the official attendance records that we were granted access to by the board office. So and this is something to definitely note, if you have any questions or want to inspect or review the nominations papers, they will be on file at the board office, all of them. There are multiple candidates who received multiple nominations. They are all there for you all to inspect. Each nomination received a review by the Elections Committee and signed and countersigned by individual members then of the Elections Committee who did not process the review or handle the receipt of the nomination, to make sure that we are all above board in ensuring everything is squeaky clean. So FOIL us, come check it out, engage in the forum, all those good things. So without further ado, okay, the nominee list. Very good. So I'm going to start with the unopposed position we have for the Office of Secretary. Rosa Diaz has been nominated. For the Office of Treasurer, we have, and I will do alphabetical order as a convention.
no.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah. For the office of treasurer, we have a nomination for Derek Stampone. We have for the office of treasurer a nomination for Anne Marie Vasquez. When I say a nomination, there may be multiple, but for the purpose of what we're doing here, just saying a nomination. For the office of vice chairperson, we have a nomination for Jose Altamirano. For the office of vice chairperson as well, we have a nomination for the member Sage Mason. For the office of chairperson, we have a nomination for Adem Briha. For the office of chairperson, we have a nomination for Isaac Scott. At this point, that is the slate. Unless we have any additional late nominations. I see a hand in the back. You have until the adjournment of the meeting to accept or decline your nomination, Asher, which has to be done in writing on the approved form. So
Okay.
if it's not here, we perhaps cannot accept it.
Okay.
Come up and see Kyoka, and
Yep.
we have, that's all I
9:30.
have for you right now. Thank you.
9:30. Thank you very much, Jessica Morris. Please tune in to when they have their next meeting. Please, and pay attention to when the emails go out for the candidate forums as well. And so with that, any new business? Seeing there is none. Any old business? None. Any announcements? All right. All right. Please call the roll.
Thank you. Please, members, listen for your name. Jose Altamirano, calm down. Fernando Alvarez. Thank you. Marcel Bondima. Adem Brija. Marie Charles. Absent. Leslie Colon. Thank you. Carlos Diaz.
Here.
Thank you. Rosa Diaz is myself. Jessica Elliott. Thank you. David Giordano. Thank you. Ada Giresi. Thank you. James Gray. John Green.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Chancellor Gregg. Pascal Hanu. Wanda Hopkins.
Present.
Thank you. Kyoka Jackson. Christina Johnson. Thank you. Jewel Jones. James Kemp. Sage Mason. Malik McCulloch. Robin Maginty. Absent. Jennifer Mayer. Absent. Jessica Morris. Thank you. Hayward Motun.
Excused.
Nilsa Orama. Thank you. Beverly Pabon. Samantha Pedreiro. Absent. Carlene Percy. Absent. Tanya Phelps. You. Marina Phillips. Valerie Ponti.
Present.
Thank you. Asher Rodriguez. Dawn Sanders.
Yes, here.
Thank you. Xavier Santiago.
Present.
Janal Satija. Yeah, but with all the noise, I'm not able to hear
Everyone,
her.
please keep the noise down so we can actually finish roll call.
Thank you. Isaac Scott. Welcome back. Russell Schuller. Loretta So. Derek Stampone. Vincent Torres. Marie Vasquez. Thank you. Jason Villanueva. Candy Bibis Vasquez. Nye Whitaker.
So,
Agatha White. Thank you. Michelle Wilshire Clemens. Thank you. Jason Wu
absent.
is absent.
All right, with that, we conclude our meeting at 9:34. Thank you very much. Let's try to make a quick exit out, everyone. Have a good evening.